It is the battle for the Paul Bunyan Trophy here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, as WCBN Sports presents the Michigan Wolverines against the Michigan State Spartans in a battle of two 4-3 teams. Welcome everyone, I'm Zachary Linder along with Jaden Fody. It'll be Alex Miller and John Tondora bringing you the coverage in the second half. And Jaden, you take a look here, a Michigan team, the season has not gone how they expected it to. Michigan State, maybe a bit of a surprise where they're at, and a big game here for both of these teams trying to reach bowl eligibility. What do you look for as the keys to success here for both sides?
I think it's a huge game coming in to Ann Arbor. It's always a rivalry when these two teams play each other, but I think based on what we've seen so far this season, I think one of the biggest things is going to be turnovers. For Michigan, we've seen amongst their three quarterbacks, they've given up 9 interceptions. Aiden Childs also given up 9 interceptions. I think it's really going to be key for both of these teams to take care of the ball and limit those turnovers. But then on the other hand, it's going to be important for, if we do see those turnovers, for the teams to capitalize on those opportunities.
So Michigan won the coin toss, deferred. So it'll be Michigan State starting with the ball. And again, for Michigan, it's going to be back to Davis Warren at quarterback. Again, he began the year as the starter for the first 3 games. 48 for 72 in those 3 games, 444 yards, 2 touchdowns, but does have the 6 interceptions.
I think it's definitely a tough situation in the Michigan quarterback room right now. Like I said earlier, we've seen 3 quarterbacks. Last game, Jack Tuttle was the starter for the Wolverines, and now they're going back to Davis Warren, who was originally the starter for them at the beginning of this season. It's so hard for these quarterbacks to find that confidence to be consistent in these situations when they aren't getting a ton of reps. You know, we see these quarterbacks giving up turnovers, and they're not given the opportunity to really work on their mistakes and fix those issues. So it's going to be a battle today at quarterback. We might even see Alex Orji come in later in the game. So it's just going to be something to watch there, Zach.
Yeah, and on the Michigan State side, for Aiden Childs, had a strong game against Iowa as the Spartans snapped a 3-game losing streak, going 22 for 30, 256 yards, 1 touchdown, did have 1 interception. Again, as you said, 9 interceptions on the year for Childs. And we are just about set to go here. Michigan kicking left to right here. Tommy Doman will handle kickoff duties as he has all year. And he will boot it away, and we're underway. And that ball will land about 7 yards into the end zone for a touchback. So it'll be 1st and 10 Spartans at the 25.
So the first quarterback we're going to get a look at today here is Aiden Childs for the Spartans. It's going to be a question of whether they go to Nick Marsh, the wide receiver, for a majority of their plays, or if they're going to try to go with the run. I think Nick Marsh has definitely been one of their key offensive players. So it's going to be interesting to see if they focus on the run game or if they're going to start off with the pass.
Shotgun formation, 2 receivers each side. And it'll be a handoff here. Actually, it'll be a quarterback keeper as Childs gets tackled at about the 28-yard line on a read option. Pickup of 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to hand the ball off on that play, but like you said, quarterback sneak, not able to pick up many yards, but 2nd and 6 actually on the 29 for the Spartans.
Yeah, the gain officially 4 yards. Bring out a pair of tight ends. Tight formation here. Now they'll shift. 1 tight end on each side. Childs takes the snap, looks to throw. Pressure coming. He escapes it left side. He'll roll out, take off. Gets tackled at about the 37-yard line. So 2 plays, 2 carries for Childs, 1 designed, 1 not. And the Spartans pick up a 1st down.
Childs is able to find a wide open spot in Michigan's defense there and able to take the ball himself for the first down at the 37-yard line. 2 quick running plays and already a first down for the Spartans.
They'll go out a single back here. Childs under center, bunch formation right side. No eligible receivers to the left. 10 on the play clock. And it'll be a handoff here. And not much doing. Michigan there quickly. And Nate Carter goes down at about the 40-yard line on the inside carry. Pickup of 3 will set up 2nd and 7.
It's only 3 plays so far to start this game, but we've seen them go to the run on all 3 of those. I think for both teams, the run is going to be key. I think whoever wins the game on the ground is ultimately going to come away with the win today.
Under center once again is Childs. A receiver and a tight end on each side as they'll now send Jack Velling across to the right. And it'll be a play fake. Childs looks to throw, throws it out to Carter on the screen. He goes wide left side to the 40 of Michigan, out of bounds at about the 35. Forced out by Amir Hall. And the first play in the air for the Spartans is a very successful one. And Michigan State is moving here on this opening possession 2.5 minutes into the game.
Exactly like you said, Michigan State is moving here, ends up throwing the ball to his running back, Nate Carter, and he's able to get a huge pickup there, and they're already on the 34-yard line.
Back out of shotgun is Childs. Bunch set right side plus a receiver up top. And it'll be a trick play to the running back. A pitch look to throw. He's going to take off. That's Maggie Frazier, who ends up getting taken down at about the 32-yard line. Had it pitched back. So Makai Frazier took the pitch from Childs, looked to throw, ultimately runs it himself. Pickup of 3 officially, or a pickup of 2 that is. It'll be 2nd and 8 at the 32. Back under center, 3 wide. Jack Velling, the lone tight end. 8 on the play clock. Childs will take the snap, and they'll hand it off. It's Carter this time, who goes left side, taken down at about the 26. And that'll bring up the first 3rd down of the game, 3rd and 2.
You know, although he wasn't able to pick up a lot of yards on that play, that's the 2nd time we've seen them be able to break through Michigan's defense. It's really going to be about finding those holes.
Quick snap here, handoff to Carter from shotgun. He's got the first, goes out to the right side, taken down at the 20 as the Spartans move quickly, keep the ball on the ground, and they've got their 3rd first down and right on the edge of the red zone.
Exactly like you said, they're moving quickly. It's been a fast start to this game, less than 5 minutes already off the clock, and they're already down the field at the 20-yard line, looking to get the scoring going early.
So we'll see Childs out of the pistol for the first time. And he'll keep it, rolling left side out to the 14, where he's going to be taken down as he went wide. That was Jair Hill, who gets him. So it was Kieran Lynch-Adams in the game at running back for the Spartans. The fake handoff to him, Childs kept it for a pickup of about 6, or 7 officially it'll be. 2nd and 3, back under center. Lynch-Adams stays in the game at back. Velling in motion. Handoff to Lynch-Adams. He gets bottled up inside. Maybe gets a yard. I think it will be a 1-yard pickup officially, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 2 at the 12, just over 5 minutes into the contest.
3rd and 2 for the Spartans. They've made quick work with the run game. We were talking about kind of the keys to the game, and this is exactly what they're looking for, the team that's going to be able to run the ball, and they might be able to run the ball straight into the end zone here. They haven't had to rely on the pass. We've only seen 1 so far, but that 1 we've seen was a huge pickup.
3rd and short, they have the ability to run it. They go with a tight formation here. 2 tight ends on the right side, 2 receivers same side. And it'll be a handoff to Carter, who gets through for a first down. Taken down at about the 6-yard line. Michigan just unable to stop this rushing attack. And yet another first down. Again, that's now 10 plays on this drive, 9 on the ground.
With all these offensive struggles we've seen for Michigan, their defense was one of the things that had been pretty consistent, but they are just being ran through right now. Michigan State is really taking control of this game early on.
Tight formation with 3 receivers. And it'll be an end around here from the right side, coming out left, down at about the 3-yard line. That's Montori Foster, who was up top, took the end around after the fake to Carter. He goes down at about the 3. It'll be 2nd and goal, pick up of 4. Foster Jr. with the carry there. We've seen 5 players carry the ball already, 3 running backs, Aiden Childs, and now Foster Jr. 2nd and goal. It'll be a pitch outside here to Lynch Adams, and he gets taken down at about the 2-yard line. So another 3rd down, and once again 2 yards to go, this time in a goal-to-go situation, and you wonder if this will be 4-down territory if it comes to it.
Yeah, only a pickup of 1 on that play. It's interesting to see if they would go for it on 4th down or take a field goal and just get on the board early rather than risk not getting it, especially with this Michigan defense.
Under center here, Lynch Adams remains in the game. We'll have 2 tight ends, Velling and Parachek, both shift right. A receiver on each side, fake handoff. Childs rolls right, end zone, and great coverage there. Incomplete on the pass to Velling.
Fantastic coverage there by the Wolverines. We've seen throughout this entire drive, Michigan State was making quick work driving down the field. And now when it matters most in the red zone, 1st, 2nd, 3rd and goal, they're not able to get away with anything. And now it's going to be 4th and goal.
As the grad student from Silver Springs, Maryland, Quentin Johnson with the pass coverage, and the Spartans are going to go for it here on 4th down. 10 on the play clock, and they're just now breaking huddle. They'll go under center. 1 tight end on each side, 2 on the play clock. And they do not get the snap off. I don't think there was a timeout granted. I think this is going to be a delay. And it will be.
That's a huge penalty for the Spartans to give up early. It went from 4th and 2 to 4th and 7, and now they're forced to bring out their field goal unit to go for the kick. Like you said, breaking the huddle with only 10 seconds left on the play clock was a huge mistake there on their part, I think.
So Jonathan Kim, who picked up 6 field goals a week ago against Iowa, will try the 25-yarder from the left hash to put his team on the board. Kick is up, and he missed it. Wide right. The short field goal on a tough angle gave it too much angle, and the Spartans are going to come away with nothing on a 13-play drive.
It looked like that drive, everything was working so well for the Spartans early on in this game. They were able to really establish their run game early on, and then we see right at the very end that delay of game penalty has proven costly. They could have gotten 3 points on the board, but even getting that penalty there, losing the opportunity to get a touchdown, they don't even get the opportunity to go for it on 4th down. And it's what looked to be a very promising drive for the Spartans turned out to be nothing, and Michigan's offense is going to get a chance on it with 0 points on the board for the Spartans, and I think that's a really important thing for Davis Warren to head in here with no points on the board for the opponents.
Yeah, because of the missed field goal, the ball's going to come out to the 20-yard line here. Unlike if Michigan State had gone for it from the 2, they don't get it. You're still going to have the Wolverines backed up. And the big thing to me, obviously, you break the huddle late. But whether it's Aiden Childs or Jonathan Smith on the sideline, someone's got to have the awareness to realize the play clock situation. And if you have to take a timeout, you don't love to on the first drive of the game, but it's the first half. You can deal with taking a timeout there if you have to, because that wasn't a situation where you're just trying to draw them offside or something and you know you might take a delay and kick the field goal. It looked to me like there was full intention for Michigan State to go for it. And then again, Jonathan Kim, 6 field goals picked up in last week's contest. Did miss one. Misses his first one here.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right about that. It did not look like they were considering going for the kick. It looks like they were set on going for it on 4th down. But like we saw on that play, no one having the awareness to realize that the play clock is running down. We've seen how well they were able to run the ball through Michigan's defense. Not being able to give your offense the chance to go for it with only 2 yards to gain is a huge miss for the Spartans on that play and getting on the board early. Now Michigan is going to have the opportunity to get the first points of today's game.
And then the other thing you have to go back to is that 3rd down play call, deciding to throw the ball after being so effective on the ground. Now, obviously, they had 2nd and goal on the 3. You get 1 yard. You have 3rd and goal at the 2. But you run it, even if you get stopped, maybe you get a yard, and then you have a chance to run it again as Michigan's back out. 6:52 left in the first. 8-minute, 8-second drive for the Spartans yields no points. And it'll be Davis Warren out there, returning to the starting role. Kalel Mullings at back. Warren out of shotgun. 3 receivers, 1 tight end. Max Bredesen, the tight end in motion, goes to the right side. Warren takes the snap, handoff Mullings, and quickly in the backfield there is Dequan Dowse, who drops Mullings for a loss of a yard back to the 19.
It's not the way the Wolverines want to start the game on the first play. Davis Warren getting his first time back on the field since the beginning of the season. That's definitely not what you want to see.
You have to think there was just a missed block there. 2nd and 11, handoff to Mullings again. He'll bounce it out to the left, struggling to find room. As the Spartans swarm over to him. Gets probably that 1 yard back, and now a little extracurricular, it looks like perhaps, but nothing coming out of that.
No flag on the play, but a quick word there from the ref.
It'll be 3rd and 9 from the 21. Michigan moving fast, 4 wide out of shotgun. Mullings stays in at back to Warren's left, and now Michigan's going to slow it down. They got 10 on the play clock. Warren will go over the calls. He'll snap it, drops back to throw. Has great protection, rolls out left side. Looking for a target, throws. Incomplete down the sideline.
Davis Warren had so much time on that play. He wasn't being pressured. He had the space. Ultimately ends up throwing it at the sideline. No receivers there for him, and it's 4th and 9, and Michigan comes out and right away on their first drive of the game, they're forced to punt the ball, and I think that is probably the worst start to the game that Michigan could have had. 3 and out is not ideal for a quarterback making his first start since September 14th against Arkansas State.
Colston Loveland the target there. Tommy Doman will punt it away. And it'll go out to about the 38-yard line, where it'll be fair caught by Montre Foster Jr. And we'll go to immediate timeout here. 5:23 left in the first. And so I think looking here, 1 drive in down for each team, this almost feels a little bit like that Texas game in week 2. It's scoreless after 1 drive, but Michigan State had a long drive going. The delay of game penalty forced them into a field goal that they end up missing. I think on Texas's first drive, it was a holding penalty that set up a 3rd and very long. Had to kick a field goal, a much longer one at that. Missed it. Michigan follows up with a 3 and out. And so if you're Michigan, like, what do you think needs to change here just to keep it scoreless because it feels like Michigan State clearly looked better on that first drive. It was just the third down, great pass coverage by Quentin Johnson, the delay of game, and the missed field goal that kept Michigan State off the board.
You know, we saw on that first drive for Michigan State defense was pressuring so quick, and we're seeing Michigan State, who's coming out of that game from Iowa with one of their best defensive performances of the season. So Michigan State's defense is coming into this game with a little bit more confidence than they would have if this game had been played earlier in the season. And I think what is going to be so important for Michigan is really getting Kalel Mullings going. I know we saw those first two running plays for him ultimately resulted in a loss of 1 and a gain of 1. So those are not two great plays that we were able to see from him. But I think Davis Warren trying to get the ball going in the air is not going to be the answer for the Wolverines. They're going to need to get that run game going.
Yeah, and Kalel Mullings averaging 97 yards a game on the ground. Michigan as a team averaging 180 rushing yards per game, just 128 yards through the air. Bit of a different split for Michigan State, who has 133 yards on the ground, but 233 passing yards per game. But we saw Michigan State go almost exclusively on the ground, 11 of their 13 offensive plays back on that first drive. So this drive will begin on the right hash at the 38-yard line.
And now Michigan State's getting their second possession of the game, but they're in a great spot on the field, especially how we saw them drive the ball in that first drive. They're in a great position right now, I think.
Under center is Aiden Childs. As it'll be a handoff up the middle. No yardage or minimal yardage picked up.
Yeah, it's going to be 2nd and 9 for the Spartans, so only a gain of 1. But again, we're seeing the run. I think that's 100% going to be the key to the game for both of these teams here.
That was Mekhi Frazier with the handoff, taking the handoff there, picking up just 1 yard. 2nd and 9 here. Pair of tight ends shifts right side. Frazier out of the game. Believe Carter's back in. And it'll be a throw for Childs as he rolls out left, looks up the middle, and a wide open receiver at the 47-yard line. So that's Nick Marsh who gets taken down right there. Looked like the play design went to the right side. You had Marsh open on the left, and Childs saw him rolled out there.
If Michigan State is going to go with the passes, we're going to see Childs throw to Marsh. He's been one of their key wide receivers, and he's able to pick up 15 yards on that play. He looked wide open in the middle of the field there.
So 1st and 10 at the Michigan 46 with 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Under center is Childs. 2 receivers, 2 tight ends. And it'll be an end around there out to the left side. That was Alante Brown playing for the first time since the team's first 2 games of the season, but gets no yardage, or 1 yard at that. It'll be a 2nd and 9. And you're seeing Michigan State really get creative with the running plays.
Yeah, they've been going with quite a few different players on there, and Alante Brown only played in 2 games this season, so this is only his 3rd appearance of the season.
Childs out of an empty backfield, takes the snap from shotgun, throws up the middle to the tight end Jack Velling, but incomplete. Velling was open, looked like the throw maybe a bit low, and it'll set up a 3rd and long.
This is a key play here for Michigan to get out of this one and get the ball back, get another opportunity, but giving up a 1st down on 3rd and 9 would be a blow to this defense.
We'll go 3 wide, 1 tight end, and a running back out of shotgun. 10 on the play clock. Childs will step back, now we'll take the snap. It's going to be a handoff to Carter, who has a ton of space up the middle to the 25, 20, 15, taken down at about the 11-yard line. And right when you thought Michigan State might be forced to throw on 3rd and long, they catch the Wolverines off guard, and a gain of 34 on the ground for the junior running back.
Nate Carter is one of the running backs that we saw Michigan State go to a ton on their first drive. And now once again, he's able to pick up 34 yards on a 3rd and long.
So 1st and 10 at the 11 now. Pair of wide receivers down low, one up high, and now Michigan State will take a timeout.
Michigan State, it's their first of the half. Will be a full media timeout.
So with 2:25 left in the half, or in the first quarter, I apologize, we'll get a stoppage here. Play clock running down there. Michigan State did not make the mistake of taking another delay. Only penalty we've seen so far in this game.
Yeah, like you said, the only penalty we've seen so far, but definitely an avoidable one. They obviously don't want to make the same mistake twice. They're really going to try to capitalize on this opportunity here, especially with a missed field goal. A touchdown here would be huge for them, especially because we've seen them be so dominant so early on in this game, really being able to find the holes in Michigan's defense like we saw on that catch there. They're able to find those pockets of space. And through the running, we were able to see him break through the defense there, really able to find that space, take his yards. We've seen so far, this team is fast. They're going to be able to run on their feet. And Michigan's lucky they were able to tackle him before the goal line.
Yeah, take a look here. Michigan State already with 124 yards in this game. 83 on the ground, 56 from Nate Carter. Aiden Childs has 19 of the yards on 3 of his own carries. 41 yards through the air, just 4 passes thrown, 2 for completions. Michigan State into the red zone for the 2nd time in as many drives. Michigan with just 1 yard on that first drive. And again, this is a Michigan State team that sees most of its yardage on average come through the air. And this is also a Michigan defense that has fared much better against the run, allowing just 92 yards on the ground per game, 234 through the air, which is right in line with the figure Michigan State's offense typically picks up. So a bit of a script flip here.
Yeah, exactly like you said, it's a little bit interesting that Michigan State's deciding to focus more on the run today, especially with such a defense that this Michigan defense, like I was saying earlier, has been one of their strongest aspects of their team this season. And to see them get so exposed on the run early on in this game has been different than what we're used to. And seeing Michigan State focus on the run, it's clearly worked, so I'm not surprised if we're going to see them go to this more often throughout the rest of the game.
So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 11, 2:25 left in the quarter. No score here, Michigan State on its 2nd possession of the game. It'll be Nate Carter in the backfield to the right of Aiden Childs, who's in shotgun. 3 receivers. One tight end. It'll be a keeper for Childs, who gets down to about the 5, taken down. I think they're going to spot the ball at about the 3-yard line on the read option. Pickup of 8 sets up 2nd and 2 at the 3.
Yeah, Michigan State's in a great position here to get themselves on the board. I feel like we said the exact same thing, though, on their drive earlier, and Michigan was able to shut things down right in front of their goal line. So hoping to recreate that there and get another stop, but we really have seen them be able to run right down the middle of Michigan's defense.
Childs goes under center. Carter remains in the backfield. Foster Jr. will motion out right. Fakes the handoff. It'll be play action. Throw to Foster Jr. left side. Makes one man miss, but gets taken down. I think it's going to be about a half yard to a yard short of the line to gain. So it'll be 3rd and just under a yard to go inside the 2. Michigan State can pick up another first down here. The minute 15 left in the quarter. It'll be 3rd and very short in what you figure will be a 4-down territory once again. They'll go I formation here, bring in a fullback. No receivers, 3 tight ends. Hand off to Carter into a scrum, and I don't know if he even got the first down. I don't think they're going to give it to him. I think it's going to be 4th and less than a yard.
Yeah, it does not look like he got the first down on that play. And the Michigan student section's cheering.
It's going to be 4th and about a foot, perhaps less. An 11-second difference between the game clock and play clock. So Michigan State will have to snap it in this quarter right in front of these Michigan students. And they'll go with a tight formation once again. And a handoff to Carter. He breaks through, and I think he got in. He did. Touchdown, Spartans. And Michigan State is on the board first with 10 seconds left in quarter number 1.
Michigan State, we see, is able to get on the board first here in this one. And it just seems like they're completely dominating this game. But if you look at the score, it doesn't look like they are. But seeing the way they've been with the run game, they're really able to capitalize on this defense.
So Jonathan Kim missed a 25-yard field goal. He'll take the extra point from the center of the field, a much easier angle. And he will put it through. So with 10 seconds left in the quarter, Michigan State takes a 7-0 lead as they have completely manhandled the Wolverines on the ground. And we are going to get a media timeout here with 10 seconds. Clearly these long Michigan State drives have put us behind in terms of getting these timeouts in.
I guess so.
And again, I think the script we saw there with Michigan State is probably what they should have done in on the first drive. When the running attack is so successful, put it on the ground on 3rd down. Even when you don't get in, put it back on the ground on 4th down, and you know that Michigan was only going to have so many stops. Ended up needing 1 too many.
Yeah. Michigan just was not able to find what they were able to get on that first drive of the game, where they were able to stop the Spartans, ultimately got bailed out by a penalty. We're not sure what would have happened if Michigan State was able to go for it on their first drive with only 4th and 2nd, or 4th and 2, my bad. But they're able to get the points on the board right before the first quarter's about to expire. You know, it could be 10-0 too if they were able to get that field goal in, but Michigan's lucky that it's only a 1-possession game, hoping to get something going with Davis Warren here. They only have 1 yard. They have to get that run game going, though.
Yeah, and it feels like for Michigan here, this next drive after that first 3 and out really is going to be critical, because Michigan State looking so strong offensively, feels like they should have more than 7 points. If Michigan gives them the ball back quickly, you sense this could end up being a game that just gets away from the Wolverines really fast. Just not what they're hoping for in this in-state rivalry matchup.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And in that quarter, or with only 10 seconds left, but throughout the entirety of the first quarter, we only saw a total of 3 drives. 2 of them were from Michigan State, and Michigan's 1 drive was a 3 and out. So the entirety of that quarter was Michigan State on offense. They milked the entire clock on their 2 drives. And if they're able to continue that, really eat up the time, Michigan is not going to have a lot of time with the ball, and they're going to have to make those opportunities that they do get really count.
So about to get set to kick it away for the first time this game is Jonathan Kim. And what we'll all in all likelihood, unless there's an incompletion, be just one play for Michigan in this quarter, given that we only have 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
Kim will send it deep, and that'll land about 4 yards in the end zone. So Michigan will take the touch back and bring it out to the 25.
Yeah, like you said, most likely only going to have time for one play. But I think this drive is going to be key for the Wolverines in really trying to get that offense going.
So it'll be Donovan Edwards in at back. He did not see the field on the first drive. 3 receivers, 1 tight end. A bunch to the right, 2 receivers wide up top. Warren takes the snap. Screen pass to Loveland, complete. Gets it across the 35 out to the 38-yard line. 39, I think they'll give him. And time will expire in the first quarter. And we will flip the field with the Wolverines feeling just a little bit better after that 14-yard pickup to get the second drive going.
Yeah, that play, just what they needed to end the first quarter, honestly. Anything is better than what we saw in their first drive, and they're able to find that completion. Davis Warren, who attempted to throw a pass there in the first, or during their first drive to Colston Loveland, wasn't able to find him, and connect with him on this one here. A pickup of 14, like you said. Hopefully they're able to get something going. This is key for Davis Warren, especially getting those completions is going to be important. Colston Loveland, obviously one of Michigan's best offensive players that we've seen all season, most likely to be a first-round draft pick at the end of this year. He's key for the Wolverines in this offense. As much as we said the run game is important, if they're going to go for those passes, Colston Loveland is really going to be that guy.
So take a look around quickly at out-of-town scores as we have this break here. No real interesting unexpected results. We saw Nebraska gave Ohio State a good fight, had a fourth quarter lead.
That was a close one.
Vanderbilt lost by just a field goal to Texas. On the other hand, you saw Alabama beat Missouri 34-0. Oregon beat Illinois 38-9. Notre Dame 51-14 neutral site win against Navy. You take a look at scores right now. Wisconsin up 3-0 through one quarter in a game that could have big implications in the Big Ten race to the top. The big game, number 4 Ohio State versus number 3 Penn State, a week from today.
That one's going to be huge.
Because again, if you look at it, if Ohio State wins out, in all likelihood they're making the Big Ten title game.
Yeah.
If they lose one more, they're not going to. You do have a scenario of a 3-way undefeated tie between Oregon, Indiana, and Penn State, in which case you'd have to go to their conference strength of schedules to determine who makes it. Now that would depend on Penn State beating Ohio State next week, and then Indiana winning at Ohio State after that. Not a terribly likely situation. Now, if you're Michigan, they thought they were going to be in that race at the top of the conference. And just
not this year.
Has not turned out that way.
Yeah, but you mentioned Ohio State does have to face Penn State and Indiana. Those are going to be 2 huge matchups. I don't think many people really expected Indiana to be this dominant at the beginning of the season, but I think they've proved a lot of people wrong. And they're going for a great run here.
Yeah, Michigan will be host Oregon next week, a 3:30 kickoff, and then the week after that, the Wolverines will go down to Bloomington in a matchup that at the beginning of the year you thought would be an easy win for Michigan.
Yeah, exactly.
And now it looks the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana's going to be favored to win that game, so definitely not what you were expecting at the beginning of the year.
So Alex Orji will come in for his first action of this contest. Out of shotgun, Edwards still in. Edwards will take the handoff, go out to the right side, pick up a couple yards. Gain of 2, it'll be 2nd and 8. Orji will exit. Davis Warren will return.
I think it's such an interesting dynamic that Michigan has going with their quarterbacks. When you switch them in and out, you really don't give anyone a chance to get comfortable in the game and find their footing. And I almost think it might even, I don't even know, but it's really difficult for them to really be consistent in these games when they're coming in and out.
Warren back in shotgun, bunch set up top. As Loveland will now move down low. Edwards in the game. Warren, shotgun, screen pass out to Edwards, and he'll take it down to about the 44-yard line. Gain of a couple, it'll be 3rd and 5 for Michigan here. 1 minute into the second quarter, trailing by a touchdown.
Khalil Mullings coming back in for the Wolverines on this play, hoping to get a first down. They would hate to go 3 and out on both, or not 3 and out on this one, but they would hate for both their first 2 drives of the game to end quickly.
Bunch set up top once again. Now Mullings in motion, and it's going to be a pitch to Edwards, and Edwards taking a jet sweep ends up getting stuffed at about the 40-yard line, and it will be the punt team back out onto the field for the Wolverines after just 1 first down picked up in their first 2 drives.
Michigan only has 20 total yards in their first 2 drives of the game. It is not looking good for the Wolverines. I'm also surprised they put Khalil Mullings back in on that play and chose to go with Donovan Edwards, especially when Mullings has been really their core running back.
Tommy Doman will punt it away and takes a bounce at the 7. It'll check up, and the Wolverines will down it at about the 10 as Monterey Foster Jr. decided to let it bounce, perhaps hoping it would roll into the end zone. It does not, and we'll get a media timeout. 12:46 left in this first half as Michigan is just searching for answers. So far, their success has essentially been limited to that 1 third down stop.
Yeah.
And at the 2-yard line. But again, the rushing yardage, Michigan State's picked up 93 yards on the ground. That's 1 more than Michigan's allowing per game on the season. And I think that's really the most stunning thing. We've seen Michigan struggle with pass defense at times. We know they've struggled with the passing game, but on the ground, it looked like clear advantage Michigan.
Yeah.
And that's been the difference. It's not like Michigan State's done a ton through the air, but they haven't had to.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We've only seen a handful of passes that Aiden Childs has thrown. They've really been relying on the run game, and they've been so successful with it. It really is surprising to see the defense give up this much. We've said so many times their defense has been so consistent. It's really unlike them to do this, especially, like you said, already giving up 1 more than they averaged all season. And that was only in the first quarter. They've yet to have the ball here in the second quarter. And they've really already jumped all over this defense. Michigan has not been able to get anything going offensively. And I think it's going to be hard for them to come back in this one, especially in a rivalry game. Once you really get going, it's going to be hard for them to get back in this one.
Yeah, we know, especially because Michigan depends so much on the ground game, it just makes it that much tougher when they have to come from behind. Now, of course, on the bright side, you have a 7-0 game. So Michigan's not out of it on the scoreboard.
Right.
If they can figure something out on both sides of the ball, obviously not an easy task, there's a chance, but they got to do it fast, or else it will become much closer to out of reach.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Based on the way this game has been looking, you would think that Michigan State is up way more than 7-0. They did miss an opportunity to get points on the board in their first drive, but the way they look, the game could be much more out of hand. But they only have had 2 drives so far, and they're getting ready to start their third, so it's going to be key for Michigan to shut them down on this one.
Michigan State will take it on the left hash. Childs under center. Tight end and receiver on each side. Nate Carter in the backfield. I apologize, that's not Carter. That's Lynch Adams, who takes the handoff, goes left side out to the 17. Gain of 7. Puts the Spartans in a favorable position on second down.
Spartans have been able to pick up quite a few yards on all of their running plays. It really is just clicking for them everywhere on the field today, and it's showing.
So 2nd and 3 out of shotgun this time. So 3 wide one tight end. Childs takes the snap, hands it off once again to Lynch Adams, who will push his way forward up the middle to the 21. Pick up a 4 will get his team a fresh set of downs.
I think what's also been really key here and for Michigan State being able to take so much time off the clock is when they're getting their first downs, we haven't really seen them get a ton more yards than what they needed to gain, which I think has really what's been able to, they're slowly working down the field, but also with asserting a lot of dominance in these plays.
21-yard line, 1st and 10. He'll send a man in motion. Snap, fake handoff to Lynch Adams, and now pressure coming to Childs, but he's gonna break free and get taken down at about the 23 and turn what looked like a certain sack into a pickup of a couple.
Michigan had this sack. It looked like they even had a couple of guys on Childs, but he's able to break away. Those are the things that Michigan needs to execute on. They have the opportunity to bring him down, aren't able to do it. It's 2nd and 8, but being able to get that sack and the loss of yards would have been key for the Wolverines.
2nd and 8 at the 23. We'll go I formation here as the fullback Jay Coyne enters the game alongside Lynch Adams, who's been out on the field this entire drive, takes the handoff up the middle, doesn't get much here, and it's gonna be 3rd down and 7 yards for the Spartans at the 24 with just over 10 minutes left in the half.
This is reminding me of a similar play that we saw in their last drive. It was 3rd and long. Michigan State was able to find a hole in Michigan's defense and get a 1st down. Michigan has to stop this one here.
We'll be out of shotgun. Braden Childs. 3 receivers high, 1 low. Childs takes the snap, drops back, pressure coming, screen pass to Lynch Adams is blown up by Ernest Hausman, who makes the play at the 19-yard line. A loss of 4 will force the punt unit to come onto the game for the first time for Michigan State.
Absolutely. Fantastic play by Ernest Hausman to get a tackle for loss there on that play, force them to punt the ball and not get another 1st down on this one. Michigan's defense doing what we know they can do.
So it'll be Ryan Eckley averaging 48 yards a punt. He'll boot it away to Samaj Morgan, who moves to his left, calls for a fair catch at the 30-yard line. And the Michigan defense finally gets a drive to feel good about as we head to a timeout with 9:12 left in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, much needed stop there for the Wolverines defense. We know what they're capable of. We've seen how good they can be. I think this stop is going to be the start to hopefully something that can get them going, a little bit of momentum for them to build off of. And it's going to be interesting to see what quarterback Michigan throws out there, if they're going to go with Alex Orji and Davis Warren and kind of switch in between the two, or if they're really going to give one of them a chance to work on this drive and get something going.
Yeah, trying to throw Alex Orji in right now, it looks like is a bit of a change of pace guy, like we saw the first 3 games of the year, like we saw a bit last year. Obviously just the 1 play so far, and just not able to make anything out of it. Again, Kalel Mullings, 2 carries, just 1 yard. Donovan Edwards, 2 carries, has netted nothing. Davis Warren, 2 for 3 throwing the football for 16 yards. But again, that 1 14-yard screen pass to Colston Loveland to begin that last drive was really the only positive play through 2 series that Michigan has had offensively. Now they get the stop defensively after it looked like their defense had no answers those first 2 possessions. Can they carry that momentum over and try to tie this game up?
You really hope they're going to be able to get something going. I think what's interesting when Michigan brings out Alex Orji and Davis Warren and kind of interchanges between the two is they both play differently. and it gives Michigan State's defense kind of something else to look at. Two quarterbacks, Davis Warren obviously passes more than Alex Orji. Alex Orji loves the run. You see him run the ball himself a lot even. And it really is just those two quarterbacks with two very different play styles. So it does give Michigan State's defense something to think about. But when we saw Alex Orji come in that last drive for the Wolverines, they weren't able to get anything out of it. So I think it's going to be important going back to what they know, focusing on that run game. They really have to assert themselves and get something in there. Kalel Mullings has been carrying the heaviest load for the Wolverines with the run this season. Donovan Edwards has also been a key part, but Kalel is really the one that we've seen for the Wolverines with those big plays, with a lot of carries. And he's really going to have to find the open spaces in Michigan State's defense to get something for the Wolverines.
Yeah, and you take a look game by game for Michigan. I mean, you look at their wins. You had the wins over Fresno State. They got 148 rushing yards. Minnesota 155. But then you had Arkansas State 301 yards on the ground. USC 290. Those are the numbers Michigan's got to get to. As it will be Davis Warren in here to start this series. It's Donovan Edwards next to him, and he'll pitch it out to Edwards wide right. Cannot break the edge. Gets taken down at the 28. He'll lose 2.
Kalel Mullings actually the one with the ball there on that play.
I apologize, that is Mullings.
But ultimately only able to be found for a loss of 1.
It'll be 2nd and 11. Mullings stays in the game. It'll be 4 receivers in here out of shotgun. Warren takes the snap, throws complete to Loveland, who goes up the middle to the 35, crosses, gets taken down at about the 39. Pickup of 10 will make it 3rd and a yard as Loveland gets his 2nd reception.
It looked like he had a lot of open space on that play to run. He ultimately ends up running laterally, and he's not able to pick up the first down. Michigan's forced to have a 3rd and 1. They have to get a first down on this play.
3rd and short. See if they put it on the ground. Out of shotgun here. Mullings remains in. And they will hand it off. He gets space. Gets out to the 44 before he gets taken down. But that pickup of 5, more than enough for a first down as the Wolverines keep the chains moving.
It almost looked like he was going to be able to break free there at the last second. That would have been a huge pickup for the Wolverines. But ultimately, you're just happy with getting a first down in this situation.
So a gain of 6 officially. Michigan goes 3 wide. Loveland in at tight end. Mullings in to the right of Davis Warren. 10 on the play clock. Morgan goes behind, now takes the screen pass after motioning behind Warren and falls and ends up losing 3 yards. I don't know, that might have been a backwards pitch. Either way, lost yardage play.
Yeah, that pass too honestly looked like it was pretty low to the ground. Samaj kind of has to reach back for it and not really able to get his feet under him and pick up any yards on that one.
So 2nd and 13 now. Wolverines bring out a pair of tight ends. Warren drops back to throw again. Now he'll take off and get taken down at about the 49 to escape pressure in the backfield. Picks up 7. That'll make it 3rd and 6.
Looks like Michigan might try to go to a run play here.
And Mullings has been in the game this entire drive. 3rd and 6 upcoming. As he'll take the snap, he will hand off to Mullings, who just gets stuffed right at the line. I think he got 1 yard, but nothing more than that, and Michigan's going to be forced to punt for a 3rd drive in as many possessions, much to the dismay of this Wolverines crowd.
Michigan just has not been they have not been clicking today with each other. They've not been able to really be successful on anything. We've only seen a few passes which have been good to Colston Loveland, but the run is really what we know they're good at, and they have not been able to find anything.
Dominic Doman punts it away, where it'll be fair caught at the 15-yard line by Montre Foster Jr. So we'll have a stoppage. 5:17 left in the first half. 3 drives in the books for each team, and it's a 7-0 lead for the Spartans.
Yeah, and if you're Michigan, you really haven't been able to find success anywhere on the field. They had a nice stop from the defense, but other than that, nothing has really been working well for them. It's hard to say what they need to fix to really get something going here in this game.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it starts more on the offensive side of the ball, just because obviously they're down, so they're going to have to play catch up a little bit. And the defense, well, they haven't looked very sharp. They've given up 7 points through 3 drives.
Right.
They got 2 big third down stops that led to drives that ended up having no points. Now, are there improvements they still need to make to be more dependable on that side? Absolutely. But I think we've seen the offense just not able to make enough plays to even be able to get into field goal range. Michigan just able to touch the midfield line on that last drive, but that was only on a 4th down.
Yeah, and with just over 5 minutes left in the first half, Michigan's only been able to have 37 yards so far in this game. 37 yards, like you said, it's not even enough to get them in field goal range, not even enough to put enough points on the board. And when we've seen Michigan State going to the run, they're not susceptible to those interceptions that we've seen Aiden Childs throw earlier this season. And if Michigan is not even able to get those points from their defense, really, where are they going to find those points from? They're going to have to, it's going to have to start with their offense, exactly like you said, and really not being able to find anything. They're going to have to find something, and right now it seems like that's really hard, but with the score only being 7-0, like you said, it could be 21-0, which would put them in a much worse position. But it is only 7-0. It's still a 1-possession game. It's not out of hand by any means.
The ball will be just inside the left hash mark at the 15-yard line after the fair catch on the punt. Michigan State looking to try to make it a 2-possession game. Michigan's defense would love a takeaway here to give the struggling offense a short field. Childs under center. 2 tight ends. They'll hand it off here, and in the backfield quickly are the Wolverines. Loss of 3 on the handoff to Nate Carter.
Michigan being able to pressure quickly on that play is key. I think another thing we're gonna have to see is we've been able to see Michigan State really get rid of the ball quickly to kind of avoid those sacks, but Michigan being able to pressure quickly is just as good as getting a sack on that play.
Mason Graham with the tackle for loss. 2nd and 13. Childs works out a shotgun this time. 4 receivers wide. He'll take the snap, look to throw, pressure coming quickly, has to bounce it out, and he's able to, as that completion goes to Nick Marsh, who gets taken down right where he catches it at the 16, but a flag is down. And I think it might be an ineligible man downfield.
Ineligible player downfield. Offense, number 66. That penalty will be declined. Or down.
Now that's interesting for me. In my opinion, on a gain of 4, going with the 3rd and 9 instead of what otherwise would be 2nd and 19 from the 6-yard line, or 2nd and 18 from the 7 if they had enforced that penalty.
You almost would rather have that if you're Michigan State, seeing how successful they've been on offense, rather than force it on a 3rd and long.
So 3rd and 9, moving quickly is Childs with 3 on the play clock. Frantically clapping, he will get the snap off. It's going to be a handoff to Carter, who bounces it wide to the left. And a takedown there by Wesley Walker down low, I think is going to put him about a half-yard short. A great open field tackle there after Michigan State very nearly picked up a first down on the ground on 3rd and long for the second time this contest. Instead, they will punt it away with 3.5 minutes to go in the quarter. So it'll be Tyler Morris back to return. Ryan Eckley will punt it away, standing on just about his 10-yard line, about 14 yards deep. And a rather low punt here, but it's got good distance. Fielded at the 22. Morris will return it right side 30 to about the 36-yard line. That return will be about 14.
But it looks like a player down on the field for Michigan State. We have the athletic trainers rushing out onto the field.
So we'll have a stoppage with 2:58. Not going to immediate timeout with the 2-minute timeout approaching. Can't see who that is. First player we've had to go down on either side in the contest. But again, Michigan will get favorable starting field position after a good return from Tyler Morris, who fielded the punt instead of Samaj Morgan. But again, Michigan, just 2 first downs picked up on their first 3 possessions.
But in these last 2 offensive drives that we've seen from Michigan State, Michigan's defense has really been able to bail them out there. We have had 2 key stops in back-to-back plays for them to force Michigan State to punt the ball.
It looks like the injured player there, I believe is Caden Schickel, the senior out of Fredericksburg, Virginia. Looked like going for a tackle of Morris, just kind of collapsed, but was able to walk off on his own power. It'll be Warren now taking the snap out of pistol, handoff to Donovan Edwards this time, who gets just a yard, as these Michigan running backs just cannot find any space.
You know, they really haven't been able to find anything. Only 16 yards on the ground for Michigan.
So 2nd and 8 at the 38. Be out of shotgun. There'll be a screen pass out left side to Loveland, who catches it. It's taken down at about the 41 after a fake handoff to Edwards. And this time, with 2:06 left, we have a Wolverine down.
Officials timeout for an offensive injury.
It's like a lineman down there for the Wolverines. It'll be 3rd and 5 at the 41. You figure the clock's going to run down to the 2-minute timeout before we get another play in. The injured player, the right tackle, Andrew Gentry, who remains on the ground.
Once again, we have the athletic trainers out there. 2 players down on plays such close together, both needing help walking off the field. You never like to see one of the players go down.
Yeah, Gentry on his feet. Well, it's clear that he's not able to walk off on his own as he gets assistance heading into the tunnel. And again, I'd be surprised to see Michigan even line up for a play, and they're not going to.
Yeah.
Referee will wind the clock, and we're going to reach the 2-minute timeout. It'll be 3rd and 5
This
at
is
41.
the 2-minute timeout.
So again, we take a look here coming up on the end of the first half. Michigan State leading in yardage 153-42, outgaining Michigan through the air 41-26, with the staggering number 112 rushing yards to Michigan's 16, 8 first downs picked up to Michigan's 2. Spartans 3 for 7 on third downs, Wolverines 1 for 4. Spartans successful on their 1 fourth down attempt. Just 1 accepted penalty against Michigan State for 5 yards. No penalties against Michigan. And then perhaps the biggest number, time of possession, Michigan State 19 minutes 14 seconds. Michigan 8 minutes 39 seconds.
Yeah, that chunk of possession for Michigan State was almost the entirety of the first quarter. That one drive that we saw Michigan had was that 1 3-and-out on their first drive of the game, and otherwise the first quarter was all of Michigan State. Everything was working so well for them. They were really able to establish that run game quickly, and I was kind of talking about it at the beginning of the game, but it was really about who was going to be able to find the run game, was ultimately going to be who was going to be able to win this game, and Michigan State was able to find that really quickly, especially like you did mention Michigan State has kind of been focusing on their passing game more than we've seen them focus on their run, but today they ultimately decided to go with the run against a Michigan defense who has been really good against that, but it's been working for them today, so no need to abandon that now.
You get Michigan 15 plays offensively, 9 on the air, 9 on the ground, 6 through the air. 5 of Warren's 6 passes have been completed, but just 26 yards. Michigan State 30 plays and 23 have been rushing. Spread out over 6 ball carriers. And Aiden Childs, the quarterback, with 5 carries for 29 yards. The lead running back, Nate Carter, has 63 yards and a touchdown to 9 carries. Kieran Lynch-Adams, 5 carries for 14 yards.
And you know, you see Michigan still really focusing on the run, but like we've been saying so much, they have not been able to get the yards off those plays. But when you look at it, it's like, if you were them, would you really switch over to the pass that you know you haven't been able to find success on this season, or do you keep pushing the run and hopefully you find what you had earlier this year?
So it'll be 3rd and 5 at the 41. And even here, run definitely not out of the equation with this Michigan team that has struggled so much to throw the ball. But on the Michigan State side, you're ready for it defensively. Warren in shotgun. Edwards remains in the game. 3 receivers up top, 1 at the bottom. .12 on the play clock. Warren takes the snap, straight drop back, now rolls right. Does he have anyone open? Throws across his body, complete to Morgan, who came back toward the line to gain, but I think he got taken down at the 47-yard line, and he will pick up the first down for his team. Michigan moving really fast here, keeping the same personnel out there. They'll snap it in just 11 seconds. Throw complete this time. Out to the left side, out to the 40, out of bounds at about the 39. Peyton O'Leary, the senior from Byfield, Massachusetts, picks up his first catch of the game. And back-to-back completions for Davis Warren. Even after the out of bounds, they're still going to move fast here. Loveland motions down low, along with O'Leary, 2 receivers high. And now Michigan will take signals from the sideline. Again, the headset communication from the coach cuts off at 15 seconds, so anything now would be from signals. Warren snap, throw. Sideline complete to Loveland, out of bounds at the 30, and all of a sudden, this passing offense getting going for the Wolverines.
Michigan forced to move quickly with only 2 minutes left in the half, and this is really when we see them clicking on their offense, finding those passes that they haven't been successful on earlier.
So Michigan will make subs. So the Spartans get an opportunity to match. I think just by virtue of Loveland going out of bounds by his bench, that grants Michigan State the chance to make subs. 2nd and 1 at the 31. And again, a minute 36, all 3 timeouts for Michigan. The clock is not really a big issue here, but we see they want to play this up-tempo game. Now they're going to run with Edwards, who gets the first down, finds a little space before he's tackled at the 26. Put it back on the ground. Edwards, his 4th carry, picks up more than his first 3 combined. Wolverines moving quickly again. This time Davis Warren out of the pistol. Snap. Handoff Edwards. Finds a little space as he gets valuable yards after contact down to the 22, and I think Michigan's going to take a timeout here.
Timeout, Michigan. Their first of the half will be 30 seconds in length.
And again, I think if you're Michigan, you're not even really that worried about the clock. Minute 16, but you just ran the ball twice. You're not getting the clock stoppage there for a first down, so you may as well use that first timeout. You still got 2. But again, the playbook's wide open for the Wolverines. We saw 3 straight, really 5 straight positive plays. You can accept that 4-yard carry on first down. You had the 3 straight completions in field goal range. And again, Michigan won the toss, won the coin toss, deferred to the second half. So they will get the ball coming out of halftime. Chance to double up here. Want to at least get on the board, but they'd much rather get it in the end zone. 2nd and 6. They'll go 4 wide here. Edwards has been in the game all drive, and he remains in the game. To the left of Davis Warren, who's now going to come back under center. Look to the sideline. He'll step back. 3 seconds to snap, and he'll just get it off in time. Pitches to Edwards, out left, 20, 15, out of bounds at the 12. The 11-yard line it'll officially be. Pickup of 10, and Michigan is in the red zone for the first time tonight.
This is the first drive all game where we've really seen Michigan being able to get something going, and it started with only 2 minutes left on the clock.
1st and 10 at the 11. As they'll split Max Bredesen wide. They've been running largely with a 4-receiver set. 2 tight ends in here. Handoff to Edwards again. He'll try to bounce it out left, unable to do anything with it. Gets just a yard. Minute left on the clock. Was wondering if Sherrone Moore was going to take a second timeout. He will not. And he's going to bring in Colston Loveland for Marlon Klein. So now the center judge going to hold up play while the Spartans match that substitution. Now 40 seconds left. Center judge will drop back. Michigan still with 2 timeouts. They'll take the snap. Warren, play fake, throw, end zone, touchdown! Michigan on the pass to Colston Loveland. And the Wolverines are an extra point away from a tie game.
Colston Loveland wide open in the end zone on that play. It really looked like no one was on him, and Michigan's able to get on the board with a 10-yard touchdown pass from Davis Warren. With only 30 seconds left on the clock, they were able to score a touchdown in 1 minute and 30 seconds.
So Dominic Zavada will make his first appearance of the game for the game-tying extra point. And a botched snap and a throw into quadruple coverage as the holder desperately attempted to get something going. And Michigan will remain down by 1 And this is not the first time this year we've seen Michigan struggle on special teams. So a 7-6 Michigan State lead. And that hurts if you're Michigan because you had all the momentum, just a beautiful drive, run and pass complementing each other perfectly. And the snap just not handled there.
Yeah, and if you're Michigan, when you've been struggling all game and you're really finally able to find that time where your whole offense is working well together, you just really want to be able to finish it off with that extra point. But they're unable to, and now they're most likely going to go into the half down by 1. But like you said, they will be receiving the ball to start the second half, so at least that is a positive for them there to have a chance to get on the board again.
Tommy Doman, after botching the handle and the snap, will kick it away, fair caught on the goal line. Now, if you're Michigan State, you got 29 seconds, 2 timeouts, and we will see if they try anything here, knowing that they will have to kick off to start the second half.
And there's a chance for them to get themselves into field goal range. There's not a ton of time left, but a couple long passes, and they could find themselves with an opportunity for a kick.
So take it here out of the shotgun for Childs. 2 receivers low, 2 tight ends high. It's going to be a handoff to Carter. He gets space and gets it out to the 38-yard line. 23 seconds left, clock stoppage briefly for a first down. Michigan State going to hold on to those timeouts. 14-yard pickup. Clock is rolling, snap quickly comes. Childs drops back, rolls out to his right side, facing pressure, fumble! And it's recovered by the Wolverines at the 34-yard line! Josiah Stewart with the fumble. Forced the fumble there. And Michigan comes away with the ball and a chance to take the lead here with 12 seconds left in the half. And it was clear Aiden Childs did not feel that pressure. Kenneth Grant recovered the fumble because Childs was out of the pocket. And he could have thrown that ball away. And I think he had more space than he thought he did. 12 seconds left. Michigan has the ball at the 34. They've added 14 seconds to the clock. Wolverines with 2 timeouts. They can use the whole field. Warren in shotgun, 3 receivers, 1 tight end. Edwards in the game. Drops back. Throws. Screen pass Edwards. He's got a ton of space on the right side to the 20. Gets taken out of bounds at about the 19-yard line with 6 seconds left. We'll see if they try to run one more play here. They can take a shot to the end zone, but it's got to be quick. And it looks like Sherrone Moore's not taking any chances. With 6 seconds left, he will send out the field goal unit to try to give his team the lead. As they show a replay here. Crowd wanted a flag for a late hit out of bounds. Not called. It'll be a 37-yard field goal from the right hash, and Jonathan Smith will take a timeout.
Michigan State, the second of the half, will be 30 seconds
like
in length.
Dominic Savada took the kick anyway, missed it wide left, but it's not going to count. He will get a second chance.
Yeah, and if you're Michigan, that is exactly what you were looking for. That is Aiden Childs' 5th fumble of the season. I was saying earlier this game, it's those turnovers. We were really looking to limit those turnovers. Michigan State had done a fantastic job so far this game. But if Michigan's able to capitalize on this, that's exactly what they're looking for, being able to get those takeaways and get points out of it, especially after not being able to get that extra point.
So a 37-yard field goal here. So this one will count from the right hash for the lead. Snap, good hold, kick is up, and it is good. And the Wolverines are ahead 9-7 with 2 seconds left in the first half in a stunning turn of events here in these final couple minutes.
Yeah, exactly like you said, in the final couple minutes, heading into the last 2 minutes of the game, Michigan was down 7-0. We were wondering even if they were going to be able to get a couple first downs out of that play, given how they performed earlier on in the game. But they're finally able to make up some ground and really look like the Michigan team that we know they can be.
So Tommy Doman will kick it deep. As you figure with 2 seconds left, unless Michigan State gets a kick to return, probably just kneel on it, head to the locker room. As the kick will come, and it'll be fair caught at about the 3-yard line. Michigan State not even interested in trying to return it and risking any issues. So a fair catch. And figure unlikely we're going to see anything here with just a couple seconds. And in fact, Aiden Childs will take a knee, as the decision by Michigan State to be aggressive there at the end of the first half, which certainly seemed like the right move after a 13-yard run to start that drive, ultimately cost them 3 points. And after early on in the first quarter, this looked like it was a Michigan State blowout incoming. And all of a sudden, a beautiful drive by Michigan out of nowhere those final couple minutes, and then the defense comes in because, again, the offense, through all the struggles, the one positive was no turnovers. They did not give Michigan State any points. The 7 points Michigan State got, they earned on a brilliant touchdown drive. Michigan State gifts Michigan 3 points, and after Zavada got a bit of a break with Jonathan Smith calling a timeout to ice him on what otherwise would have been an unsuccessful kick, puts it through. Michigan up 2 at halftime. They will get the ball first in the second half. And I almost wonder, looking at how that Wolverines offense was operating, if they should keep that up-tempo game to start the second half.
I mean, we saw them head into that final drive with only 2 minutes, down by 7, and they were playing so fast and so quick, and it worked fantastic for them. They were able to connect on their passes, being able to find Colston Loveland, who we knew was going to be a key option for them if they were going to look for that pass offense. And he proved what we know he can do. And especially in that drive that we saw, they were going more towards the pass instead of relying on the run. And it worked out for them. And I think now, with Michigan heading into the second half, they're going to receive the ball. I think going back to that might be a good option for them because it was what was working.
And so we're going to take a little bit of a break. We'll have some more halftime content coming up. But any final thoughts, Jane, that you have here on what we saw in this first half that ended with a 2-point lead?
Yeah, I think just final thoughts to close out the first half is we obviously saw Michigan did not have a good first quarter, but being able to come out at the end of the second quarter here, really being able to capitalize on their opportunities, I think is most important, especially like we saw them being able to force a fumble from Aiden Childs, who we have seen has been a bit turnover prone early on this season with 9 interceptions and now his 5th fumble of the season. Really being able to capitalize on those. The defense got key stops there. I think that's exactly what they needed to really turn their confidence around and get some momentum going heading into the second half.
We're going to take a little break here. Alex Miller will be on shortly with a special guest for some halftime coverage. And then it's Alex Miller, John Tondora for the second half. Along with Jaden Fody, I'm Zachary Linder saying thank you for listening to the first half of Michigan football coverage here on WCBN Sports. Don't go anywhere, as we'll be back with content soon, and for now we'll leave you with the sounds of the Michigan State marching band in its halftime performance.
Halftime here in Ann Arbor. You're listening to WCBN Sports, the official student radio of the University of Michigan. 9-7 through the first half. I'm Alex Miller. Joining me, special guest. If you're not aware of my personal lore, which I'm sure most people listening are not, I spent the last summer broadcasting baseball games for a team in the Northwoods League, the Royal Oak Leprechauns. My special guest, my partner during the summer, Jacob Katsanika, who's a beat writer for Spartans Illustrated, a Rivals page. So we're getting a Spartan perspective on the broadcast. Jacob, how are you doing this evening?
It'd be better if MSU had a lead, as I think they should be. But, I'm really appreciative of you inviting me on for halftime.
Oh, of course. Thought this would be fun, get a different voice. John Tondora will be joining me for the second half. We'll get him on here in a little bit. But, Jacob, first half, bit of an adventure. First quarter, time of possession, dominated by Michigan State. Score could have been a little higher, missed the field goal short. But what did you see early on?
And that's the thing I'm talking about. MSU essentially spotted Michigan 6 points in that first half. The missed 25-yard field goal again, which is it's almost inexplicable because Jonathan Kim made 6 field goals in MSU's win over Iowa last week. So it was just, that was the last thing I was expecting, was him to miss a chip shot like that. And then obviously the Childs fumble right before halftime. And you can look at it two ways, is that, hey, you spotted them 6 points, you're only down by 2 going into the half, but Michigan does get the ball to open it, so a stop will be critical for MSU coming out. But, you know, the other way you can look at it is, frankly, at least in my eyes, MSU was the better team. The score doesn't reflect that, obviously, which is what matters. But, you know, that's really the way I view that first half.
No, I think you're absolutely right. First quarter in particular, Michigan State just dominated, even if it was only 7-0. And then Michigan got going. I mean, I'd have to say, I think that last 2 drives there was the best offensive drive that didn't come in garbage time. Late against Texas, Warren had a decent drive down, but especially throwing the football, that was probably the best Michigan has looked so far this year.
Yeah, Warren, 10 for 11 right now at the halftime. You know, Michigan has not turned the ball over. You know, that's about as much as you could ask for him. You know, they're clearly easy. They're trying to get him some in-rhythm throws a lot, not really a whole lot down the field, but they're finding Loveland and Donovan Edwards in just some quick stuff, and it's really, especially in that second quarter towards the end of the half, it was really gashing MSU's defense.
Couple screens set up by the Wolverines to get Loveland in space. There was that one, try to get Samaj Morgan on the right side. Warren's throw a little bit low. But those are the kind of play calls Kirk Campbell can go to try to get this Michigan offense in the passing game in rhythm without taxing Warren too much, get him comfortable. Back to the Michigan State side, Aiden Childs, 5 for 7, 41 yards, also picked up 24 yards on the ground. Had a couple good scrambles early, and that was something you and I talked about prior to this game, something that could work well for Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean, really, this is the opposite game plan that I thought MSU was going to come in with, especially in the absence of Will Johnson, given how stout Michigan's front seven is. Obviously, you got Kenneth Grant, you got Mason Graham, you got Josiah Stewart. I thought that they'd be slinging the rock the whole game, but again, 7 pass attempts. They've ran the ball 26 times, which, you know, they're basically playing Michigan-style brand of football. You know, both teams are going the opposite direction. Michigan, 11 pass attempts, 10 completions to 13 rushing attempts. So it's really not been the game flow that I was expecting coming into tonight.
Nate Carter was rolling early on. He goes into the half, 10 carries, 77 yards, and a touchdown.
They had that 34-yarder that helped set up, I believe, the MSU score. That was the longest run play for Michigan State against a power conference opponent this year to this point.
Both teams had their moments. Both teams made the mistake, and I think coming to this one, a lot was being viewed as turnover battle. This is it. Both teams have had their mistakes. Childs has had a couple of fumbles so far to this point. He has more interceptions than he does touchdown throws. Michigan, the woes well documented. Warren, similar stat for him coming to this one. Obviously, Michigan has cycled through quarterbacks largely because of their inability to keep the football. But going to the second half, what are you looking for from these two teams as they try to separate the 9-7 game?
Yeah, if you're Michigan State, you know, you got to, again, you can't spot Michigan 6 more points in the second half and expect to come out of the stadium with Paul Bunyan in your possession. I'd have to imagine they're going to take more than 7 pass attempts in the second half. I bet you'll see a lot of play action because now I'd have to imagine Michigan safeties are going to be closing in closer to the line of scrimmage. They've been, you know, the constant in Michigan State's two Big Ten wins has been Nick Marsh going off, essentially. He's 2 catches for 19 yards. They need Nick Marsh to really step up in this second half. You know, it's big shoes to fill for the true freshman. That's just what you need. And then, you know, as far as Michigan goes, they need to run the ball. Michigan State's run defense has really improved over the year, but they handled Caleb Johnson relatively well outside of one play last week, and they've held Michigan to 37 rushing yards on 13 attempts. So, you know, if you told really anyone that stat, that's what it would look like going into halftime, you'd have to imagine MSU held a lead, and it's not like that. But if Michigan can just get 5 yards a pop, 4 or 5 yards a pop, I'd have to imagine they walk out of here with the dub.
You hit on a couple really good things, starting with Michigan State's passing game. Obviously, Will Johnson not playing in this one, and this Michigan secondary has gotten beaten at times this year. Certainly something Michigan State could go to. And on the other side, for Michigan, this is a team I thought was going to try to pound the ball into the ground today. Obviously, go back to Davis Warren. Warren efficient so far, 10 for 11, 79 yards, a touchdown. And that last drive, really second drive as well there after the fumble, a bit of flash of something. But this is a Michigan team that's identity over the last couple of years has been running the football. We'll see where they go second half.
And again, like you said, I can't imagine either team thought like this is how the play calling differential would look going to set. There's no way Jonathan Smith or Brian Lindgren was saying, hey, we're going to run the ball 25 times and throw it 7 times in the first half. That's probably, it was just kind of, for both sides, it was like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. MSU's getting 5 yards a pop. They've popped a few. They've had a few long runs. And Michigan's like, hey, that short to intermediate passing game is working, so let's just keep going to that. You know, they kind of had that moment of realization midway through the second quarter, and that's allowed them to take the lead here.
We've got about 8.5 minutes left here in the halftime. So, Jacob, while I've got you, looking ahead for these two teams, both sitting at 4-3, fighting for bowl contention. This feels like, for both of them, must-win games. Michigan looking ahead. Maybe the only other winnable game on the schedule, Northwestern. You've got at Indiana and the year in Ohio State, and you have Oregon at home. Michigan State, sort of a similar tough schedule coming up.
Yeah, for sure. Like, for Michigan, they need this game. You know, like, I'm obviously have some bias here, but in my opinion, all the pressure is on Michigan to take this one. After all, pressure is a privilege. You know, you're the defending national champs. That comes with natural expectations that, hey, you should probably win at home against a team that went 4-8 last year. But Michigan State, on the other hand, you know, they can afford it. You know, you don't want to lose the big rivalry game, but there's some more winnable games on MSU's schedule. They host Purdue, who's probably the worst team in the Big Ten right now, and they host Rutgers, who I'd say MSU is certainly better than to this point in their final two games of the season. But Michigan on there, you got Oregon next week. I don't think I need to tell you how that might go. There's Ohio State, and there's Indiana as well. MSU plays Indiana as well. But, you know, I'm really interested to see how both of these teams respond to how that half ended and where this game moves from here. And I'm sure we're in for, you know, as it often is in this rivalry, a thrilling ending. You
can debate whether momentum is real or not, but let's say that it is. So it's got to be with Michigan. I mean,
oh yes,
you get the drive down for the touchdown, get the field goal. Obviously, the 2-point conversion try, an interesting choice
Trouble
there.
With the snap on the PAT. I'm sorry, I had to get it in there. I just had to get it in there.
Well, I was wondering if the snap for Kim's short field goal was a little off the line.
I think obviously you don't get a good look at that up in the press box, but that would make sense given that's just not a kick that Kim misses.
And this is a very minor note, but looking ahead for Michigan State in the kicking game, they'll be without long snapper Caden Schickel, I'd imagine, the rest of the way.
Yes.
Would be Jack Carson Wentz?
Jack Carson Wentz. I know they've had Sam Edwards, who's listed as a linebacker, do some lawn. Yeah, they're actually warming up right now with Sam Edwards as we speak as a lawn snapper. So it appears that would be the direction MSU will go.
Something to keep an eye on for certain. This game could be close down to the wire. Those are the kind of mistakes that can really bite you.
Again, it's like both teams can look at this and say, hey, we could be up by more. Obviously, a missed PAT can come back to bite you, but especially for Michigan State, opening drive, they go, 13, 14 plays, and you get nothing. You know, again, it's like what I point to. Every statistic here says that Michigan State should have the lead, but that's not how football works, and now they're going to have to find a way to – they're going to need a stop here. If Michigan gets a touchdown, per se, to open this second half, it's going to be really difficult for MSU to probably come back into this one.
Right, you brought me back to where I was going with the momentum talk. Michigan, last two scores, they get the ball here to open the half. Davis Warren probably is playing the best football he's played in his very limited college career. Really, those last two drives.
It's really the best the quarterback has looked for Michigan all season, besides maybe like those first two drives when Jack Tuttle came in against Washington.
Right.
But again, we all know how that game ended for him, and obviously he's out today due to injury. But still, again, ask any Wolverine fan, hey, he's going to go 10 for 11, no turnovers. First half, they'll take it in 2 milliseconds.
That was something Sherrone Moore talked about coming into this one, was avoiding the turnovers, and Davis Warren has taken care of the football so far in this one. He had a nice scramble where he was under some pressure, tucked it, climbed the pocket, went up the middle, picked up a couple. Warren showed some promise, and we're in for a good second half here. And that's the fun of this rivalry here. Michigan has been so dominant the last couple of years, except obviously the undefeated year, and Michigan State took that one. But after a 49-0 last year, this is a ball game.
Yeah, for sure. Again, 30 minutes of football left. It's been there's not been many possessions to go around two, so having the ball in your possession is really going to be a premium in this one. So, again, thank you for having me on. We're in for a treat.
We absolutely are. Any final bits you want to get off here onto the air before we flip this one over? About 4 minutes left in halftime. I'll get John Tondora on at some point. Anything you got left to say in the tank?
Nothing. I guess just as far as what the adjustments these teams need to make, MSU is really going to need to take away those quick passes, maybe dial up some blitzes on Warren and try, at least get some stress on him in the pocket. And again, just as far as Michigan goes, they can't let MSU do what they just did in the first half in the run game here.
All sounds good. Well, Jacob, really appreciate you hopping on for this one. Jacob Katsanika, beat writer for Michigan State on Spartans Illustrated. Go read him over there. So we'll pause for a brief moment. John Tondora will join me for the second half. 9-7 here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Michigan State. You're listening to WCBN Sports, the official student radio of the University of Michigan. Little over 2 minutes left here in halftime. I'm Alex Miller. Jacob Katsanika was with me moments ago. Now John Tondora, our very own, will join me here. John, we're in for a fun second half here, 9-7 Michigan through the first. What were you seeing through the first half of this ball game?
Yeah, happy to be here, Alex. It's been a bit of a wild ride, right? I think a lot of people came into this game knowing that there would be some level of intensity, some level of closeness that these two teams would bring, that this rivalry always brings. But sometimes football has a way of going how you can't even draw it up, right? A turnover at the half swings momentum. Michigan, after a missed extra point, you think they're going in down 6-7. How about that? They're up 9-7.
Very much so, a swing in momentum, something Jacob and I discussed a bit ago. Michigan, I mean, Davis Warren looked very comfortable for that drive, that final drive for the touchdown. I mean, he was throwing the football. They got him in space, couple nice throws, tough throws. And Warren made them 10 for 11 so far.
And it was good to see Davis Warren come out and play free, right? It's a big rivalry game. It's one where the nerves, the emotions can potentially ride a little high. But to play unafraid and to just go out and throw the ball, we know Davis Warren struggled with turnovers, interceptions, mainly earlier this season. It's what got him benched at halftime against Arkansas State earlier this season in Week 3. However, if Michigan's going to win this game, you can't play on the back foot. You can't play reactive. You have to go out and be proactive, and that's what we saw through much of those first two drives for Michigan. Minimal yards gained, a lot of running the ball. Of course, some fans who are either here in person or able to watch on television as well, they'll lament a potential missed crossing route by Colston Loveland on the first drive that ended in a 3-and-out. Those are all decisions that are made from a more fearful, a more slow, a more conservative Michigan offense that doesn't trust its quarterback.
On the ball there, John, but Warren will get the ball back right here. We'll see how aggressive Kirk Campbell and company will be with the play calling. 9-7 Michigan, second half underway very shortly here. Michigan State in the big house. Doesn't get much better than this, folks. Return man waiting back deep for Michigan. And here goes the kickoff. It's away. That one fair caught in the end zone by Keyshawn Harris.
A little bit of jawing there on the sideline, courtesy of a couple Michigan and Michigan State players. That's another thing I'd like to highlight, Alex. There's been a little bubbling of the intensity and emotions here. Of course, a couple late hits out of bounds that Donovan Edwards wanted to see called. The refs held onto their flags, but we'll have to see as this game progresses to what extent those emotions can be kept contained.
Small thing to keep an eye on. Evan Link in there at right tackle. Andrew Gentry went down with a leg injury in the first half, so it's Link, redshirt freshman, back at tackle. Davis Warren on the left hash and shotgun. Kalel Mullings to his left now. Trips to the left, sole receiver on the right. Warren fakes a pitch to his left, now rolls to his right, throws it out to the flat and misses Tyler Moore. His ball was behind him, incomplete.
I like the play call there, showing a look that they had previously used with Donovan Edwards in the first half, that pitch play. Of course, Davis Warren keeps it himself, rolls out right. That's a ball that you've got to have on the money, something that'll make Michigan fans groan and moan as they have all season long.
2nd and 10 now. Warren back in the gun. Mullings to his left again. Loveland, tight end on the left side of the formation. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right for Warren. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff. No, he gave it to Mullings, who makes it to about the 27-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd and 8 here.
That's a typical call courtesy of Sherrone Moore and company. They love running the ball after incompletions to just try and get some positive momentum. But now you're faced with 3rd and long.
3rd and 8. Here's a test for Davis Warren. Claps his hands, now comes up under center to talk to his line. 3 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left side. Back to his left is Mullings. 3rd and 8. 14-19, Warren drops back to pass, looks to the right side, throws, and there's Samaj Morgan for the first down at the 36-yard line, a yard past the stick on a comeback route.
Second first down conversion for Samaj Morgan today. He's been a bit of a safety blanket for Davis Warren. Warren shuffling his feet on the throw there. We still see that skittishness that we want to have eliminated if you're Michigan at least. A completion nonetheless, and first down, a new chance.
Alex Orji in at quarterback for Michigan here on first down. He's in the gun. Mullings to his right. Now Mullings goes out in motion to the left side. Orji, direct QB draw, takes it to the left side. Orji gets outside. He's got room to the run to the 50, to the 40. Orji knocked out of bounds to the 34-yard line. Designed run for Alex Orji, and Michigan is on the move here to begin the 3rd quarter. 13:31 left here.
Boy, that's got to feel good if you're Alex Orji, Michigan's biggest explosive play of the day. Handoff, directing traffic. As you mentioned, Alex, just patience in that, not pocket, let's say, not a passing play, but patience to find the hole, find the gap, and hit it for long.
It's back to Davis Warren in shotgun. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. 35 to goal here for Michigan. 9-7. 13:05. Flea flicker back to Warren, looking deep down the field. The ball is caught at the 12-yard line. Complete to C.J. Charleston down there.
Talk about some momentum, Alex. That's what Alex Orji can bring. That's what Davis Warren can bring. As a combo together, you get the ball moving, put the Spartans on their back feet, and suddenly trick plays, deep shots. The game opens up so much more when you're able to throw everything you can at Michigan State.
Orji back in. Nobody is lined up under center right now. Orji's out to the left side. Now Samaj Morgan comes back into shotgun. Michigan getting tricky. Morgan takes the snap, fakes an end around. Now he takes it to the left side and is knocked out of bounds at around the 3-yard line. Morgan took the snap in shotgun, ran left, faked a pitch back to Orji to the right. Morgan kept it, was knocked out of bounds to the left side. They'll mark him, I believe, at the 5. So 2nd and 3 to the 2 here. Michigan getting crafty.
Craftier than crafty, Alex. I've watched a lot of Michigan football in my day growing up. I'm not sure if I've seen a wildcat with a wide receiver faking to your backup quarterback.
Warren back in the gun. Tight formation, 2 receivers to the right side. Mullings to the right of Davis Warren. Snap, handoff to Mullings up the middle. Didn't get much. They'll mark him at the 4, so a pickup of a yard. 3rd and 2 now. Receiver on either side. Warren in the gun. Takes it quickly. Handoff to Mullings up the middle. Did he push? I believe that he picked this up. They'll give him the spot. Mullings got to the 1-yard line. Picks up the first down on 3rd and 2, so it'll be 1st and goal from the 1 here for the Michigan Wolverines.
And we'll see a big boy coming out. Jeff Percy, backup swing tackle for Michigan. He's had his moments this season, but this is how you know Michigan smells blood in the water. They're ready to maybe punch this one in at the goal line, and if they do, they'll do it on the ground and pound.
10:47 and ticking here left in the third quarter. 9-7 Michigan. First and goal from the 1 yard line. I formation, Bredesen the up back, Mullings the deep back. Here's the snap, handoff to Mullings to the left side. Fighting for the line to gain, doesn't get to the goal. They'll move him back a yard to the 2. Good push from that Michigan State defensive line.
And how about that Spartan line? As you just mentioned, Alex, that looked like every single man winning his rep in the trenches. If you're Michigan State, that's exactly what you want to see in this moment. The University of Michigan, of course, these past couple of years, building their bread and butter on the line, but it's been a tight one tonight.
Second and goal from the 2. I formation once again. Warren, Bredesen, Mullings. Takes the snap, fakes it to Mullings. Time for Warren, rolls out left, throws deep. The ball too high there. Looking for Colston Loveland. No flag on the play. That'll bring up third and goal from the 2.
Another bit of a tricky play design there by Michigan, looking to see if they can catch the Spartans napping. Of course, that was the first score for the Wolverines earlier in the day on the play action to Colston Loveland. This time can't convert.
Alex Orji comes on here to play quarterback. 9:53 left in the third quarter. 3rd and 2 from the 2 yard line. 3rd and goal here. Orji in the pistol. Now in the gun, Mullings comes to his right. Bredesen out wide to the right side. Now he comes in motion. Orji takes the snap, runs to the right side, gets a block from Mullings, and he can get in the end zone. Alex Orji takes it in himself. Touchdown Wolverines. 15-7 Michigan.
Alex Orji says, let me do it myself, right? Davis Warren and Alex Orji together, peanut butter and jelly. Maybe not the combo that you're used to if you're Michigan, but what I've really liked, at least early on in the season and now to see here again today, Michigan integrating both Alex Orji and Davis Warren into this setup. It keeps defenses uneasy, and when it's firing, you can see how it can work.
Here comes the point after try for Zavada. Good hold from Doman. Kick is up. And it is good. 16-7 Michigan. And John, talking about those two quarterbacks, that's about as good as the back and forth quarterback play has been all year. Chunk play on the ground for Orji. He also carries in the touchdown. Warren with a couple nice throws in the mix there.
Exactly, Alex. And I think to some extent, it's hard to turn back the clock, but this is what Michigan fans initially believed was the could have been. And maybe what can still be if you can salvage this season, potentially make a bowl game. But I want to specifically highlight Davis Warren. Here's a guy who is tasked with throwing the ball and has to come in and out hot and cold. It can be difficult at times to just, interrupt, stop, and start your momentum. Of course, for Orji, when he's keeping the ball, perhaps a little bit easier. But credit to Davis Warren for staying calm and keeping his composure and throwing.
They showed it on the Jumbotron moments ago. Orji and Warren, high fives for each other. The quarterback room with a lot of love for each other. Both guys playing at their best on that drive to begin the third quarter. So Michigan with a 16-7 lead over the Michigan State Spartans. 9:49 left here in the third quarter.
And the play before the play a little bit. We can go back to that Colston Loveland incompletion. I still liked the attempt by Davis Warren. We talked about playing free out of the halftime break. Even throwing the ball, giving your receivers a chance, something that, of course, although Colston Loveland didn't come down with it, is still a breath of fresh air to see for this Michigan quarterback room. The question is now, what does Michigan do next, right? Do you continue to attempt this multi-scheme offense? Do you allow Davis Warren to open up a little bit more with his arm now that you have a semblance of a lead? Or do you get more conservative? Do you try and lock it down and just say, look, let's pack it up. We scored enough points and go home?
We'll see if 16 is enough to go home with. A lot of time left for this Michigan State offense to get going. And Hayden Childs had his moments, particularly on the ground in the first half. Nate Carter ran it well. What are the Spartans looking to do here, down 16-7?
Michigan linebacker discipline was exposed at times on those Aiden Childs runs. Of course, at 1.2, Kenneth Grant missing what would have been a sack that then turned into a 3-yard gain for the Spartans. We'll have to see if maybe that read option RPO style of play can open up this playbook once more for Michigan State. A name we haven't really called as much thus far tonight, Marsh, freshman wide receiver who's made a huge impact thus far for Michigan State. We'll have to see if he can get more so in the mix. Childs, turnover prone earlier in the season, initially looked to have shunted those woes, only throwing one interception last week before thus far a half with none. But the fumble, the recovery by Kenneth Grant, the three-point swing, and now momentum after that touchdown rests solely in the hands of the Michigan Wolverines.
16 straight points for Michigan. 9:49 left here in the third quarter. Tommy Doman gets ready to kick this one away. Here's the kick from Doman. And Alante Brown going to take this one out from the 5-yard line. No, they rule this dead. I believe fair catch called by the other returner.
A little bit of miscommunication there. Brown forward motioning his hand, attempting to take that out. It looked like Michigan State was going to have the opportunity to make what could have been a chunk play. Brown kicking himself, looked visibly frustrated. And now Michigan State is way backed up.
The Spartans get the ball here at the 5-yard line. Childs will take this one in the gun. He's standing at the edge of his own end zone, back to his right, takes the snap, and he rolls out to his right after a play action, gets it to his tight end, Jack Velling, who picks up, I believe, the first down past the 16-yard line. No, they'll mark him out at the 14.
A nice play there for Michigan State to just take themselves out of that danger zone, right? Give Childs a little bit of breathing room. Play action pass gets the defensive eyes moving the wrong way. And Childs gets to see the ball go into one of his receivers' hands.
2nd and 1 now. Childs in the gun again. Michigan showing blitz. They bring it. And a spin move there by Nate Carter.
Nate Carter just looked like he might have been coated in butter there. Spin move into low juke on Mason Graham, finally wrapped up by Ernest Hausman, and then a cavalcade of Wolverines. But that was two prime opportunities for the Wolverines to bring down Carter in negative territory.
1st and 10, ball on the 18-yard line. Single back behind Aiden Childs. He takes the snap, throws a screen to the left side, and Jair Hill able to wrap up, I believe, on Montori Foster Jr. After Foster picked up 6. It'll be 2nd and 4, ball on the 24-yard line.
And that's a positive play to see come out of Jair Hill. Michigan's defensive backs struggling throughout the season to tackle in open space. A good play call there by Michigan State considering what they likely saw on film, but just a better play by Jair Hill.
Childs in the gun, Nate Carter to his left. 2 receivers to his right, far from the formation, 2 to the left tight. Pitch play to the left side for Carter. He escapes a tackle, scampers to the 25-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds. Zeke Berry, the lead man there on defense with Ernest Hausman.
And once again, Makari Page, their safety for Michigan, had the opportunity to bring down Carter for only a 1-yard gain. Had a nice spin move to break off his blocker, and then just completely misses the tackle. Tackling by defensive backs, it's something every single coach wants to see.
Okay, Ron Lynch Adams the back. Childs in shotgun. Lynch Adams to his left. 2 receivers to the right side, 1 alone on the left side. 3rd and 4 here at the 24-yard line. Childs gets the snap, drops back, blitz comes hard, lobs the ball deep to the right side, coming back to the ball and making a catch is Montori Foster Jr. out across the 50 to the 46-yard line of Michigan. Ball thrown right over the head for a completion.
That's Zeke Berry who was in coverage there. He Looks like he slips a little bit for the moment, but then the eye discipline, not knowing the ball is coming his way. How many times have we seen that out of Wink Martindale, sending the house in a moment where perhaps you're leaving your young, inexperienced corners and safeties on an island?
Giles pitches it back to the left side. Faked an end around, did Carter. He escapes down the left sideline. Is knocked out of bounds, close to the first down marker. They'll give it to him out across the 36-yard line.
Nate Carter says, you want to get tricky, I can get tricky too. Seemingly reminiscent of Samaj Morgan's keeper on the other end in Michigan's previous drive. Carter picks up a great chunk play there.
1st and 10, 6:15 to go here in the third quarter. Michigan State marching down the field all of a sudden. Childs in the pistol. Wide receivers to either side. Takes the snap. Hands it off to Lynch Adams, who cuts up the right side and is pulled down at the 30. 5-yard pickup on the ground on first down. Oh, they'll give him 6. 2nd and 4 at the 29.
Michigan's run defense uncharacteristically porous here throughout the game. Of course, had some better stops at the end of the first half, but right now getting gashed by Carter and this tricky Michigan State offense.
Giles up under center. 2nd and 4 at the 29-yard line. 5:27 left here in the third quarter. Giles takes the snap, hands it off to the left, cut back up by Carter, and he's wrapped up at the 26-yard line. Amir Hall, the tackler there.
Nice play by Amir Hall to come from the other end of the field to grab Carter from the backside. That's the type of play you like to see when everyone has the eye discipline to hustle towards the ball.
4:56 and ticking here. 3rd and 1 at the 26-yard line. Where do the Spartans go? Giles under center. Believe it's Nate Carter as the deep single back. Giles barking out orders. Now he settles back under center. Jack Velling in motion. Giles hands the ball off. Carter can't dance away from big Kenny Grant. Grant wraps him up behind the line of scrimmage and puts Michigan State to 4th down.
Hard to go anywhere when a 300-plus pound man is standing in your way. Kenneth Grant wins his rep in the blink of an eye, and he's in the backfield before you can say, oh my goodness.
Jonathan Smith will send out the kicking team. Jonathan Kim sits back. 46-yard try coming here. Keep an eye on the snap. Snap a little high, but put down well. Kick from Kim is up, and it is good. 16-10 here in Ann Arbor with 3:45 to go in the third quarter.
Still a one-score game. I found it particularly interesting. Michigan not looking to go for the block on the kick there. Michigan 2 blocked field goals on 2 previous games. Kim, of course, missing from 25 earlier today, but the Wolverines dropped back 3 on that play, clearly at least protecting from a potential fake field goal, potential 4th down trickeration. All the same, Jonathan Kim getting back in the positive lane. Love to see that. He's a guy who could end up kicking on Sundays one day, coming into today's game with an over 92% field goal percentage, 15 of 16. Good to see him getting right back on track.
A pair of strong field goal kickers for either of these teams. Dominic Zavada has had a good season as well on the other side for Michigan. So 3:45 to go here in the third quarter. Michigan gets the ball back, up 16-10, and their offense really has looked about as good as it has all season long these last couple drives, last time in this quarter and then before halftime.
Definitely, Alex, and honestly, it couldn't have come at a better time. Of course, Michigan State, a rivalry matchup, but going into that first quarter break, you could almost feel the energy sapped out of Michigan's sideline. It felt like a dilapidated group. Finally, the turnover, some positive momentum, the things that you need to break your way to win these intensely scrutinized games are going the way for Michigan. Of course, Michigan State still in striking distance, a 6-point game. One stop here, and it can all be changed once more.
That it can. Rivalry football here in the big house. The Spartans far from dead, down 6 points. With a lot of time left to go. 3:45 remains in the third quarter.
I'd be particularly interested too, Alex, to see where does Tony Alford and Kurt Campbell go in the running back room. Of course, that last touchdown drive powered mostly by Kalel Mullings. Of course, Alex Orji helping out as well. But oftentimes we've seen Kalel and Donovan Edwards split these games, split these drives. Do they stick with what's been working in Kalel Mullings? Or alternatively, does Donovan Edwards get his fair share of the pie?
Keyshawn Harris and Joe Taylor back deep for Michigan.
Joe Taylor, a Chelsea, Michigan graduate, someone who certainly this rivalry means a whole lot to. Chelsea, Michigan, not far here from Ann Arbor, but at the same time, within close proximity to East Lansing, as well as everything in central and southeastern Michigan can feel at times. Alex, you know that better than me.
Certainly a lot of crossover in this rivalry. Even walking around today, you see a lot of Spartans fans at Michigan tailgates. Onside kick try here from the Spartans. Ball still loose, and it's dove on, I believe, by Michigan. I believe that was a 22 that dove on it. Michigan recovers. But boy, Jonathan Smith tried to get tricky, and that ball was bouncing around for a little while there.
Definitely, Alex. The opportunity was there. I don't know if I entirely understand the play call. Maybe you're completely trying to recapture that momentum. At the same time, though, Michigan within a lot closer proximity than they alternatively would have been. Of course, we've been talking a lot about Michigan's offense being so successful, but
it was the 22 of Tavier Dunlap that dove on that football.
it's easy to see the vision on some level, of course. Michigan State wanting to get the ball back within plus territory potentially. But at the same time, you wonder if this Michigan offense will eventually regress to what it has been its mean thus far this season. Certainly a bit of a gift-wrapped play there when it doesn't work out.
So do we. Michigan ball on the Michigan State 47-yard line. So some short field to work with after the risky onside kick attempt by Michigan State. Two minutes left to your media timeout. And John, you were talking before, you liked what you saw from this quarterback room going back and forth. We'll see if that continues to work here. I mean, the common phrase you hear is if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. Last couple drives, Davis Warren has looked certainly like a quarterback, and Alex Orji has made some plays on the ground.
Yeah, certainly, Alex. I think part of that, too, is Jack Tuttle listed on the injury report, or at least reportedly out due to injury. So in a very warped way, the University of Michigan football team has found a blessing in disguise a little bit. There is no majorly throwing quarterback to go to, barring the introduction of Jaden Denegal or Jaden Davis, which clearly the program has yet to at least consider in the off week, or in the bye week, I should say. But it seems like the Wolverines have carved out a bit of a niche. They know the role they're targeting. Alex Orji, we saw that experiment went south for Michigan. He has kind of been shuttered when it comes to throwing the ball, and that leaves Davis Warren. He's the guy who's going to be tossing the rock around, the pigskin, I should say. A little bit of a basketball reference there, Alex. But if you need someone to throw the ball, Davis Warren's your guy. And I don't see that changing anytime soon, barring, as we know, Donovan Edwards has had the opportunity to throw the ball a little bit, but maybe not in today's matchup.
Warren, 12 for 15 for 111 yards, 1 touchdown, no turnovers. He gets a chance to work short field. He's out there to begin this drive. Evan Link still in there at right tackle. for the injury earlier to Andrew Gentry. Both teams ready to go. Still about 10 seconds left in this media timeout. Lights come back on. 1st and 10 from the 47-yard line. Donovan Edwards to the left now of Davis Warren. 2 receivers to the left side, 1 to the right side. That's in motion Tyler Morris. He goes behind his quarterback Warren. Warren gives it to Edwards going to the right side, and he's chased out of bounds. Edge set well there.
I like the idea of getting Donovan Edwards out in space, running to the right. We've seen Michigan earlier on in this season attempting to make Donovan Edwards your typical 1A workhorse between the tackles back. Frankly, it just seems like that's not where he's most comfortable. A dynamic playmaker coming out of West Bloomfield. I do like the play call, just not the execution.
Warren in the pistol, Edwards behind him once again here. 2nd and 10, 3:10 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Warren now backs up, moves Edwards to his left. Takes the snap, gives it to Donovan Edwards up the middle, and he only gets about a yard down to the 46-yard line. 3rd and 9, so Michigan 2 run plays with Edwards, no gain, 1 yard. 3rd and 9 here.
Those are the types of plays that hampered Michigan earlier on in this game. Back-to-back runs. Of course, you don't want to pass in obvious passing down situations, but now you're putting a lot of taxation on Davis Warren.
3rd and 9, 2:30 to go in the 3rd quarter. 3 receivers to the left side, 1 to the right. Signal still coming in here. Warren now backs back up. Claps his hand, takes the snap, drops back to pass. Donovan Edwards picks up a blitzer. Ball to Colston Loveland. He was open, and it went right off his hands. He would have caught it about a yard short of the 1st down marker with a chance to pick it up, but a rare miscue from the star tight end, Colston Loveland. That one, a clear drop.
And the ball sailing right over the head of the referee, who ducks down. You have to wonder what Colston Loveland's vision on that play was, and a groan from Michigan Stadium. A little bit of a screen there, courtesy of the referee, but no excuses can be made. He's there on both sides of the field all the time, and that referee's not going anywhere.
Tommy Doman punched this one away. Montori Foster Jr. fields it with a fair catch at the 13-yard line.
And just like that, Jonathan Smith's decision to push forward that onside kick, looking less and less risky by the moment, dwindling down to, I'd say, 0%, Alex. But all the same, a great decision if you're Michigan State. The ball back in your own hands, and you gave yourself a shot.
Jared Goff chants going through the crowd right now. Not too far from the Motor City. Here in this football game, though, 16-10 Michigan, 2:04 to go in the 3rd quarter, and Michigan State working with the short field gets a stop. Quick 3 and out, 2 run plays, didn't go anywhere. Then the incompletion to Loveland.
Jared Goff, perhaps something that these bitter rivals can actually agree upon for once in their storied rivalry lives. You have to wonder, though, Michigan had all the momentum when it was using Kalel Mullings at running back. Donovan Edwards, of course, a dynamic playmaker in his own right, as we've mentioned. But at the same time, it just seems like it's a possibility that drives have a little more juice to them when Kalel Mullings is running up the middle.
Michigan State gets the ball back on offense. And I talked with Jacob Katsanika, beat reporter on the Spartans side at halftime. He talked about this Michigan State passing game getting going with Michigan a little bit understaffed in the defensive backfield. No Will Johnson. Nick Marsh, obviously the big weapon for Aiden Childs. Out at receiver, the freshman. Montori Foster Jr., the veteran, a good weapon as well. But so far, Michigan State has really leaned on the run game against a largely strong Michigan run defense this season, and it's been working.
Working indeed, Alex. Nate Carter has been a difficult man to bring down. Of course, in that last drive, stalled by the one rep of Kenneth Grant getting into the backfield and pushing the Spartans back. We'll have to see if they can rely on that again or if it was just an anomaly for what's been a strong game for Nate Carter.
Michigan State will start from their own 13-yard line here. 87 yards to goal, 2:06 to go in the third quarter. 16-10 ball game in favor of the Wolverines. Childs opens up in shotgun, running back to his left is Kayron Lynch-Adams. Now he's on his right. Two receivers to the right side in a false start there. I believe that was the freshman left tackle, Stanton Rummiel, but we'll see.
Offense number 82. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And that'll push the Spartans back. Exactly what you don't want to see. Those are drive killers, those false start penalties, especially when you're now backed up to what appears to be within their own 10. I want to say the 6-yard line. Alex, maybe my eyes deceive me. These contacts are getting old, but
1st and 15 from the 8. Penalty went on Brennan Parachek, the tight end. 1st and 15 from the 8-yard line for Childs. He's in the shotgun with no back, takes the snap at the 3-yard line, drops back to pass, rolls out to his left, now throws it to his tight end. There's Parachek. He gets down to the 15-yard line, so that'll bring up 2nd and 8.
Nice combo tackle by Jimmy Rolder and Amir Hall there. It looked like Childs had the opportunity to go, but some nice eye discipline by the Wolverines front 7 and defensive backs not to overcommit. Childs has those legs. We know he can use them.
Nate Carter, single back with Childs under center. Two receivers to the right side, one to the left. Tight end Jack Velling on the left side of the formation. Childs takes the snap, fakes a handoff, throw to the right side, screen coming across toward the middle of the field. Not a lot of room to run there for Nick Marsh. He's stopped at the 18-yard line.
The Spartans trying to get Nick Marsh involved. We can see the vision there coming off what looked to be a little bit of a slip screen. Trying to get the ball into one of your best playmakers' hands. A missed tackle there by Zeke Berry, I might add. Wolverines were lucky to keep that one under wraps.
Jaden Hood, the linebacker, the senior from Florida, finished the play. So 3rd and 5 here from the 18-yard line. Childs in shotgun, running back to his left, two receivers to either side. He takes the snap, looks back to pass. Good block there from Carter. Throw to the right side, incomplete. Zeke Berry was in coverage there on Alante Brown.
And it looked like Michigan State might have gotten away with a little bit of a jump there. Again, that freshman left tackle, Ramil, with an early leg kick. Doesn't make a bit of a difference, though. Nice of Zeke Berry to come and kind of make a little bit of a make-up play there with some excellent coverage. Stuck to him like glue.
My apologies. That was Isaiah Johnson, the receiver on the right side that Childs couldn't connect with. So Ryan Eckley will punt this ball away here. Here's the punt from his own 6-yard line. Deep man Samaj Morgan takes it, goes to the right side, now cuts it back to the middle, now goes out to the right side, and he's knocked out at the 40-yard line.
Not the flashiest return by Samaj Morgan, of course, only picking up about 5 or so yards. But I love to see Michigan attempting to make a play. Special teams, maybe a little overlooked sometimes, but the war can be won in all phases of the game. Samaj Morgan, a great playmaker for this Michigan team. They call him Jukebox. Love to see him make a play.
Alex Orji opens this drive in shotgun. 1st and 10 for Michigan from their own 40-yard line. 26 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Mullings to Orji's right. Two receivers on the left side. Orji claps, takes the snap, fakes the give to Mullings, now goes up the middle, spins away from a tackler. Leg still chugging, pile still moving. And Orji gets it down to the 42-yard line. 2nd and 7.
Orji maybe had the opportunity to let Mullings have a chance there to break free. Of course, we can sympathize with the feeling that when you get on the field, you want to go out and make a play with the ball in your hands.
That'll be the end of the third quarter. So 16-10, Michigan. Wolverines pick up touchdown. Spartans pick up a field goal. And the Wolverines on the move here. It'll be 2nd and 7 from their own 43.
These games, Alex, they always seem to find a way to be close, barring last year's, really honestly, an anomaly. Michigan State having to fire their head coach. Michigan en route to a 15-0 national championship. How often can you really see the Wolverines doing that? These games have a way of staying close. They have a way of making magic moments that mend or hurt your heart. Michigan fans, of course, need no reminder of what happened in this very stadium in 2015, an eerily similar game. Close until the very end.
16-10. A lot of intrigue remains in this one. And really, coming out of the second half, we didn't get a chance to talk about it a ton, but this is the game, a game that the Wolverines just have to win. They're sitting at 4-3. To me, this is a game for Sherrone Moore that to win this gives some sense of legitimacy to this coaching staff and to this program after a national championship season. Sitting at 4-3. Jonathan Smith, also a first-year head coach, with a chance to go out and get recruits, get in the portal. And to lose when you returned a fair bit of talent on the defensive side from that national championship defense would be quite a fall for the Wolverines, if it hasn't been already.
Two trajectories that at season start certainly were not aligned have now crossed over one another, and they're meeting here tonight, Alex. I completely agree. Michigan, you have a bevy of recruits here, I might add. Shamari Earls, a cornerback rumored to flip from Georgia. He's a top 100 recruit. A number of high-quality players here watching Michigan. But more than that, more than even looking down the road, let's look at today. Michigan fighting for its bowl contention. Who would have thought that only 2 months ago? Whereas for Michigan State, you're playing with house money a little bit. It's year zero. Truly year one, of course, but really, how much time has Jonathan Smith really had to incorporate what he wants to do? A loss here, you say, okay, we're still rebuilding. A win, and now you have real bragging rights over the state championship for the next 12 months.
Mr. Brightside being sung by those here in attendance at the Big House. It is a packed Michigan Stadium here on a gorgeous autumn evening. And no one's head for the Isles just yet. 16-10, Michigan. 15 minutes to play. Fourth quarter coming up shortly. We've got ourselves a ball game here in Ann Arbor. But got a lot on the line in this one. Looking ahead for Michigan. Oregon next weekend, going to be a tough one. Doesn't get much easier for Michigan. But a chance to take down a rival here.
And Oregon, we saw here. Today, dismantling an Illinois team that shut down Michigan's offense just a week ago. You don't always love to play transitive property in Big Ten football, no less. But yes, a tall task, Alex, for a top team in the nation.
Targeting call there as they came back on Jordan Turner. So the middle linebacker is gone. And Turner, a big part of this Spartan defense in the middle. Leads the team in tackles and tackles for loss.
And when you're talking about stopping a run-first team like Michigan, how much more difficult is that when you lose such an intelligent run blocker, or run stopper, I should say, in Turner?
Ball on the 42-yard line now. Michigan just 42 yards to go after that penalty. Flipped him over the 50. Warren takes the snap, play action, drops back to pass, throws over the middle, ball low, incomplete. Looking for Max Bredesen.
How often can you say that, Alex? Looking for Max Bredesen deep downfield. Still a positive development for Michigan to even look to stretch the field in a play like this. 2nd and 10, again, oftentimes where Michigan looks to run it. Alex Orji we see coming in at quarterback.
Orji comes in. Bredesen was open there. If that ball's just a little bit more up from Davis Warren. 14:54, 2nd and 10 from the Michigan State 42-yard line. In motion goes Mullings. Orji takes the snap, runs to his right, gets outside, gets a block from Gio El-Hadi, and he's down to the 35-yard line.
It almost seems like it's clear as day at this point. Alex Orji likes to keep the ball, and he likes to keep the ball in his hands all the time.
Davis Warren comes back on, as does Marlon Klein. Max Bredesen goes off. So Loveland and Klein both in at tight end right now for Warren on 3rd and 3 here. Mullings the back. He's to the right of Warren in the pistol. A tight end and a receiver to either side. 3rd and 3. Here's the snap. Play action. Warren rolls to his right, looking into the flat. No, goes over the middle, and that is caught. Kendrick Bell for the first down and a couple more. Down to the 24-yard line.
This is something Michigan has got to have, crafting these offensive drives. We've seen this look before. Davis Warren rolling out right, all eyes on the Spartan defense, keyed in on Colston Loveland. And there's Bell sneakily downfield. Good on Davis Warren to keep his eyes on the prize.
5th reception of the season for Kendrick Bell, the sophomore from Kansas City, Missouri. Warren in the pistol now. Donovan Edwards behind him. Ball at the 23-yard line. Pitch to the right side to Edwards. He's throwing deep. Wide open. Loveland can walk on in. Donovan Edwards to Colston Loveland. We've seen something similar before. The Wolverines get tricky and put 6 more. 22-10 Michigan.
Kurt Campbell digs deep in the bag. The last time we saw that, you'd have to turn the clock back to Ohio State 2023. Donovan Edwards, a quarterback at West Bloomfield High School for a time before transitioning to running back. Clearly still in the weight room, keeping that arm strong.
Michigan has the offense out on the field. They're going to go for 2 here, up by 12. 13:20 to go in the 4th quarter. A 23-yard touchdown pass from Donovan Edwards off of a pitch. The toss to Loveland, wide open. Warren in shotgun. Loveland moves across the formation to the right side. Warren drops back to pass, looking. Loveland open, caught. 2-point conversion, good. 24-10.
Colston Loveland with some choice words there for the man in coverage. That looked to potentially be Jordan Hall as he was getting up from that reception. Loveland in motion, exactly what you want to see if you're Kurt Campbell, and an excellent play call.
How about that drive?
The Michigan offense clearly doing a 180 from the 7 points on the board last week against Illinois. Colston Loveland very upset with himself in the post game, speaking to reporters saying, "It's our job to ruin people's seasons." Clearly Colston Loveland taking it personally. Of course, Michigan State, no matter what the records say, no matter who's in bowl contention, no matter who's got what wins and losses, always a big game, always a chance to wreck a season.
Wolverines having fun. They're dancing right now on the sidelines. And why not? All of a sudden, 2-touchdown lead, 24-10, with 13:20 to go in the 4th quarter. Davis Warren, 13 for 18, 123 yards and a touchdown. Obviously, Donovan Edwards, 1 for 1 in the 23-yard touchdown pass to Colston Loveland. Alex Orji got it going on the ground game once again on that drive. It feels pretty easy to say this is the best Michigan's offense has looked all year.
Most definitely. They had the bye week going into Illinois. Many thought maybe this is when we'll see something click. An extra opportunity for Jack Tuttle, some more time. That, of course, did not transpire. And remember, this is a Michigan team, Sans, Will Johnson, holding what had previously been a surging Michigan State program to a low, low score. At the same time, we have to remember this is a team in Michigan that has struggled to find its identity at times, but I completely agree with you, Alex. It seems like things are clicking.
That it does. Ball moving for the Wolverines well, and they're doing it through the air. Something really unforeseen to this point in the season, at least on this consistent of a basis. Doman will get ready to boot this one away. Michigan State needs something here. 13:20 to go. They trail by 14, 24-10. Home squad, Wolverines on top. State took a 7-0 lead to begin this game in the first quarter, and Michigan has come alive. Doman will boot this one away. And fair caught this time by Alante Brown. So this will go out to the 25, and that's where the Spartans will start.
Again, these kickoffs getting a little bit tense. We saw the bump into Brown, courtesy of what seemed to be multiple Wolverines. The refs looking the other way in this moment, as it didn't seem to boil over. But Michigan, no need to overcomplicate things, no need to let emotions take the wheel, leading by 2 scores.
Childs up under center at the 25-yard line. 75 yards to go for Michigan State. Childs takes the snap, fakes a give back. Pressure comes, set up screen for Jack Velling, the tight end on the left side. He's run down by Jaysean Barham. They'll mark him down there at the 34-yard line.
A similar play call to what we saw kick off the last Spartans drive, just dumping it off to the tight end on that screen play. A little misdirection involved just to get Aiden Childs maybe into the rhythm for what could be a heavy passing assignment for him down the stretch.
2nd and 1. Ball at the 34-yard line of Michigan State. Giles takes the snap, gives it back to the right side, dancing around a tackler and picking up the first down. I believe that was Lynch Adams. He gets down to the 38-yard line and moves the chains.
Michigan Zeke Berry coming onto the field now in replacement of his counterpart on defense. That was number 17 in blue. Pardon my interruption.
You know, the defensive lineman goes off. Giles takes the snap, gives it for Carter again to the right side. He's bottled up. Barham wraps him up, and forward progress stopped. That was Lynch Adams with the carry. Loses about half a yard there.
Lynch Adams seeing a wall of blue as he attempts to bounce that to the outside. Mason Graham was in the area alongside Cameron Brandt. Nowhere to go.
Second and 10 once more. From the 38, Childs in the gun. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right, back to his right. Michigan showing a blitz, they'll bring it. Giles throws, nearly intercepted. Jair Hill jumped the route. Giles was looking for Nick Marsh, and Jair Hill played it well.
You can't hate the thought there. As we've talked about, Alex, attempt to get your ball to your playmaker. Jair Hill sticks those long arms in there, listed at 6'1". His wingspan, I can assure you, is much longer. It shows up on film, just the fluidity with which he plays the game, punching that one out with a chance for more.
3rd and 10, 11-12 left here in the fourth quarter, 24-10 Michigan. Giles, 3 receivers to the left, takes the snap, and he gives it to Carter. Carter blasts up the middle, and he's through for a first down. Big time run by Nate Carter. He gets across the 50 to the Michigan 48-yard line.
We saw that earlier in the game on the Spartans' second offensive drive of the contest. It eventually ended in a touchdown, catching Michigan's defense sleeping. Wink Martindale assuming what appears to be a passing down situation, and they pull the rug out from under him.
On 3rd and 10, Nate Carter picks up 14 yards on the ground. Ball at the Michigan 48, 1st and 10. Childs in the gun, 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Takes the snap, looks to the right side for a screen, nearly blown up. Now he gets it out to Alante Brown. He makes Hausman miss and is wrapped up at the 44-yard line. Nope, they'll give him the 43. Trey Pierce finishes the job for the tackle.
Elite shiftiness by Alante Brown. You don't get the job as a punt and kick returner by being the slow guy.
Giles takes the snap in the gun, gives it off to Carter. He rumbles forward for the first down, went to the left side, and makes it to the 36-yard line. Nate Carter, who had an electric first half, rolling here once more in the fourth quarter. 9:54 and ticking here.
Michigan State getting it done on the ground. If I were them, I'd keep pounding the rock. Michigan's defensive line with some answers, winning reps here and there, but linebackers have to stay disciplined and plug those gaps.
Brandon Hillman made the tackle there. 1st and 10, the Michigan 36-yard line. Giles in the gun, moving in motion is Isaiah Johnson, to the left side. Giles takes the snap, play action, looking to the left side, set up screen once again for Velling. He cuts it back to the middle of the field and is tackled down at the 28-yard line, so that'll bring up 2nd and 2 there.
Great offensive play calling by Michigan State and company there, right as you have Michigan on the back heels from the run. Play action.
Spartans moving quickly now. Trip to the right side, and a handoff to Carter. He goes to the left side and is bottled up. Kenneth Grant in the middle of that for Michigan.
Brian Lindgren, offensive coordinator for the Spartans, looking to go back to the well with Nate Carter. But you can only avoid that man in blue, number 78, for so long. Kenneth Grant, the man on a mission.
3rd and 1 at the Michigan 27-yard line. 24-10. Michigan, 8:30 to go here in the fourth quarter. Spartans break the huddle. Childs in the gun, 2 receivers to the right side. Tight end and receivers on the left side as well. Kayron Lynch-Adams takes the carry, cuts it back up the middle, and he picks up a first down and more, down to the 18. Quick feet from Lynch-Adams, and the Spartans move the chains once more.
Michigan sending a blitz on that play, bringing the heat. It doesn't matter. Allen establishing himself in this second half, and this two-headed monster for the Spartans is churning.
Kayron Lynch-Adams out-carried Carter last week against Iowa. It's been mostly Carter today, but a couple good carries there. Giles takes the snap in the gun, climbs the pocket, and he is wrapped up and brought down. It's Cameron Brandt who got him for Michigan.
Giles keeping his eyes downfield, had Lynch-Adams in the flat for what could have been a large gain. All the same, attempts to maneuver in that collapsing pocket, but it can only last for so long.
Cameron Brandt did a nice job wrapping up an elusive quarterback in Aiden Childs. 2nd and 14, ball at the 22-yard line of Michigan. Michigan State behind the sticks here. Childs up under center, single back behind him. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left side. Giles takes the snap, gives it to Lynch-Adams. He went up the middle, now cut to the right, and he's bottled up. Ernest Hausman wraps up his legs, and he goes down at the 20-yard line. 3rd and 12 here for Sparty.
Hausman popping up quickly with the finger wag. Job's not finished yet if you're the Wolverines, though. 3rd and 12, these 3rd and longs. We've seen Michigan State succeeding with running the ball here. We'll have to see what they elect to do.
24-10 Michigan, 6:28 to go in the fourth quarter. It's going to be 4-down territory for Michigan State. Childs in the gun, back to his left is Lynch-Adams. He takes the snap, looking to pass. Pressure comes in his face, throws over the middle, complete to Nick Marsh, makes 2-man miss, cuts it back to the left side, and Marsh is into the end zone. How about that from the freshman Nick Marsh? Michigan State needed a big play, and the freshman from Detroit delivered in Ann Arbor.
You could feel it loading early on. Jair Hill narrowly missing an interception on a ball intended for Nick Marsh. Previously on the past drive for the Spartans, a couple designed screens for Marsh. But at last, the man gets his moment, a cutback and a touchdown for 6.
That was some impressive yards after the catch work for Nick Marsh, who has just been a monster in his freshman season. Extra point up and through for Jonathan Kim. 24-17. Michigan State cuts it to 7. 6:12 to go here in the fourth quarter. 24-17 Michigan, and they'll get the ball back here.
And let's go back to that touchdown, Alex. All the more impressive from Nick Marsh. That cutback was done by a man listed at 6'3", 209. We're not talking about a slot wide receiver with that level of mobility. We're not talking about a guy who's 5'9", 5'10", maybe naturally inclined to be a bit shiftier. He put on the brakes and completely changed direction with that size and speed combo. It's a difficult guard. Even as an inexperienced freshman, he's got a lot of time left in East Lansing.
You didn't already know it, folks. Nick Marsh is special, and he will continue to be on Saturdays for Michigan State in the near future. Attendance announced here at the Big House. Over 110,000. No surprise there. Michigan State comes to town. The Big House tends to be packed full. 24-17 Michigan. 6:12 to go here in the fourth quarter. Wolverines have a chance to respond after Michigan State picked up 7. And you talked about it in the middle of that drive. The third down conversions, they picked up a 3rd and 10 on the ground. Nate Carter got 14 yards, and that Mars touchdown came on 3rd and 12.
Exactly. What appeared to even just be a first down becomes a back-breaking touchdown. Michigan's discipline on 3rd down that drive breaking down. As we'll have to see what Davis Warren, potentially Alex Orji as well, can respond with here. Michigan opening up the passing game with 6:12 to go, Alex. You're not out of the woods just yet. This isn't a simple run-out-the-clock moment unless you truly trust your defense to make a stand once more on this surging Spartans offense. There's going to need to be first downs. They're going to need a potential score, or else you're putting some severe pressure on your defense.
Alex Miller alongside me, John Tondora for WCBN Sports, the official student radio of the University of Michigan. Thank you for joining us for this one. Zachary Linder and Jaden Fody had the first half. This has been a good rivalry football game. Michigan up a touchdown, 24-17 with 6:12 to go in the fourth quarter. The Wolverines will get the ball after Nick Marsh got 7 for the Spartans.
And just a little bit of mathematics here for you, Alex. The Spartans, 7 of 13 on 3rd down attempts, 2 of 2 on 3rd and 9+. Just the plays that any defensive coordinator will tell you are the ones you need to be sure of. Michigan not finding that defensive response.
13-play, 75-yard touchdown drive for Michigan State. Couple big 3rd down conversions on that long drive. It took over 7 minutes of time off the clock here in the fourth quarter. 6:12 to go. Keyshawn Harris and Joe Taylor deep once more for the Wolverines. And the kick away. And it'll sail out the back of the end zone. Michigan will start at their own 25-yard line. 75 yards to goal for the team from Ann Arbor.
Again, we'll have to see here. I've mentioned it before, but Kalel Mullings walking out as the running back. This Wolverine offense has seen much more success with Mullings than it has with Donovan Edwards. We'll have to see if that stays in line here. Hard count for Davis Warren. Max Bredesen in motion.
Snap taken by Warren. Handoff up the middle for Mullings. He's bottled up at the line of scrimmage.
Maybe generous to call it a gain of 1 there, Alex. What do you think?
They'll give him a yard. Not a lot of room there for Mullings to go. Jordan Hall on the stop for Michigan State. 5:45 left here in the fourth quarter. Michigan takes their time to break the huddle. Warren in the pistol. Mullings behind him. 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Tight coverage from the Spartans. 2nd and 9 from the 26. Bredesen in motion. Warren claps his hands, take the snap. Mullings is tripped up and brought down. Tackle made in the gap, I believe, by Cal Halliday. The linebacker made a play there in the backfield.
We've seen this story before. We understand this team is all about hashtag smash, right? All about hashtag ground and pound, but eerily reminiscent to that first opening drive for Michigan. 2 straight runs, bottled up both times, and now you're in an evident passing situation when you need a first down.
3rd and 9 for Davis Warren. He's in the gun. 3 to his right, 1 to his left, back to his right. He takes the snap, drops back to pass, throws to the right side, and it's incomplete. Ball low to the stick, looking for Peyton O'Leary, and it's 4th and 9, and Michigan goes 3 and out and will punt this one back to the Spartans with 4:42 to play in the 4th quarter, only up by 7.
And don't let the score distract you, folks. 24-17, Michigan's up. The Spartans are outgaining the Wolverines 312 to 238. This is a team that has moved on the Wolverines defense all night long.
Tommy Doman punts it from his own 15. Short punt. Look out. This is going to bounce and be down at the 49. Tommy Doman has had his struggles this year after being quite excellent, really, the last couple of seasons. And man, oh man, the Spartans have some field position on their side here. They only have to go 50 yards. Down 24-17, 4:34 to go in the 4th quarter.
Michigan State looking a gift horse in the mouth here. Tommy Doman, it wasn't a shank necessarily, but talk about a punt that did not go the distance for a guy who the Wolverine faithful were so used to last season, pinning opposing teams within the 15, 10, even 5 at times. If you think back to the Maryland game, Michigan's 1,000th win last season. A puzzling punt. It almost felt like a pooch punt. It felt like a punt that you would take from your own 50, not one that would place you at your own 50.
4:34 for Aiden Childs to work with. That is a lot of time here to only need to go. They marked him at the MSU 49, so he'll have to go 51 yards. Try to tie up this ball game. Michigan leads 24-17.
Michigan State with ample opportunity to continue what has been a successful ground game today. You know, draw it up a couple plays ago. If you were Michigan, you were hoping for the potential to bleed down this clock and force Aiden Childs into throwing situations. Now, you are nowhere near that.
Michigan State defense made their stand there. Able to stop the run on the first 2 downs, and an incompletion on 3rd. As Warren tried to sneak the ball to Peyton O'Leary and couldn't fit it through a tight window.
But these are the plays, too, that don't do your quarterback any services. A 3rd and 9 is difficult to convert for any signal caller, let alone one who's had his struggles this season. Just setting up Davis Warren for a difficult task there.
Here we go. 4:34 to play. Childs at his own 49-yard line, up under center. Nick Marsh out wide. Play action fake to Carter. Childs under pressure, and he throws this away. Derek Moore got into the backfield. They're going to talk about intentional grounding here. No flag came. Now it comes. This will be intentional grounding on Aiden Childs.
Intentional grounding. Offense number 2. It'll be a loss of down at the spot of the foul. 2nd down.
Good on Derek Moore to keep him contained in that tackle box. Perhaps maybe not what Moore was thinking initially. Of course, he's likely just going for that sack, Alex, but all the same, 2nd and 24.
Way back there, spot foul. 2nd and 24 on his own 35 for Childs. 4:28 to go. He takes the snap and shotgun, looking into the flat for his running back. Now throws deep, and it's caught by Velling. A big hit laid on him there, but he holds on.
And an excellent delivery from Childs. Coming off the edge, number 0, Josiah Stewart was a man possessed on that bull rush. Childs stands, delivers, and gives his offense another opportunity.
Velling made that contested catch right back at the initial first down line. The MSU 49, Brandon Hillman laid the wood, not enough to dislodge the ball. So 3rd and 10 here. It's back to manageable to an extent for Michigan State. Childs drops back on the gun. Pressure comes immediately from Moore. Childs climbs the pocket, throws outside. It's caught by Carter. He spins away, escapes another. He is loose down to the 21. Oh my goodness, how about that shiftiness from Nate Carter?
Nate Carter looking like a ballerina, looking like a dancer. How many ways do you want to call it? The Wolverines have him dead to rights. Fans want to hold there on Moore. They won't get one. Nate Carter, though, a Herculean effort. A first down and more.
Carter spun away from one tackle, nearly lost his balance, got his left hand to the ground to keep himself up. Scampered away from another tackler, so it's 1st and 10 now from the Michigan 21. Childs takes the snap, hands it for Carter, faked left, went up the middle, and he gets down. They'll give him the 18-yard line. 2nd and 7. Under 3 to go here in the 4th quarter. 24-17 Michigan. Michigan State on the move.
And maybe the Spartans did indeed get away with a hold there. It won't make a difference, though, by any means. Michigan's defensive line so hard to trap the dangerous Childs.
K'Ron Lynch-Adams, the single back deep. And a false start there. I believe that will go on Michigan State.
False start. Offense. Number 65. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
And that it will. It was the left tackle, Stanton Rumiel, the redshirt freshman.
Rumiel getting into it with Eno Etta, the defensive lineman. They looked ready to go.
2nd and 12 from the 23-yard line now. Penalties getting to Michigan State here. So far, it hasn't bitten them too badly. Childs drops back to pass, throws over the middle, incomplete. Velling was open. He beat Jayshawn Barham over the middle. Ball out in front of him. 3rd and 12 now from the 23, 2:14 to go.
And just a step ahead of Velling, Childs delivers what could have been a ball in stride for yardage and maybe even points. Now faced with 3rd and long.
3rd and 12 at the Michigan 23-yard line, 2:14 to go. Childs in the gun, Lynch-Adams to his right, 2 receivers to either side. Michigan brings 4. Childs looks, throws it, short down to the 16-yard line. Complete there to Montori Foster Jr., but now it's 4th and 5. Down 7, 2-minute timeout here. Jonathan Smith will have to think things over, but you've got to imagine they're going to go for this.
I have to agree, Alex. I can't really see a scenario where you would take 3 points, be down 4, and then put yourself in an even more difficult situation to come back and need 7 once again. It's not a scenario, should the Spartans have been down 6, perhaps you think about it and hope for a quick stop on a Michigan offense that's been very topsy-turvy at times. All the same, though, Michigan's going to need to find a stop. Michigan State is going to have to meet them where they're at. And if I'm State, I'm looking at one man. His name is Nate Carter. My best on your best. Running game has been successful all day. Does Jonathan Smith have one more long run up his sleeve to keep this battle going?
The false start on Stanton Rumiel looms large here. Michigan State was able to escape a 2nd and 24 on this drive as a result of an Aiden Childs grounding with some chunk plays. 4th and 5 now at the U of M 16. 2-minute timeout, Michigan up 24-17. And it comes down to this.
You know, I said my best on your best when it came to Nate Carter, but frankly, Michigan State, not only today, but looking down the future, has a litany of people to go to on this team. Nick Marsh, no introduction needed. Lynch Adams has made plays as well. Jack Velling was, of course, just moments ago, one step shy of what could have been a touchdown. And that's all before we discuss Aiden Childs' ability to use those legs.
(24-17) Michigan. 2 minutes to go here in the battle for Paul Bunyan. Spartans need to pick up a big 4th and 5. They certainly have options to do it, but this is a big decision for Jonathan Smith and Brian Lindgren. So here they come. Michigan has the big dogs in. Mason Graham, Kenny Grant in the middle, Josiah Stewart, and Derek Moore on the edge. Michigan State breaks the huddle. Montori Foster Jr. in the backfield to Childs is left. Nate Carter to his right. A receiver to either side here. 4th and 5. Foster now goes out wide to the left. Childs in shotgun. 4th and 5. Here's your ball game. He takes the snap. Childs, pressure comes. He's forced out to his right. Childs being pressured, throws to the end zone. Knocked down. Incomplete. Quentin Johnson broke it up. He's pounding the ground in frustration that he could have intercepted it, but the pass breakup does all the same. A turnover on downs.
Keep your head up, Quentin Johnston. There's no need to fret. Johnson delivering everything and more that Michigan needed in that moment. Of course, maybe it won't go in the stat sheet as an interception, but it'll help all the same. 1:52 to go, Alex. Michigan can see the end sight on the horizon.
Pressure came from both sides, but in particular, no surprise, it was Josiah Stewart who flushed Childs out to the right side. Michigan has the ball 1st and 10 from their 16. Run play up the middle for Orji, a keeper, cuts it back to the left side, and he's dragged down by Ed Woods all the way out at the 31. Alex Orji has carried the ball well, and he stays in the game here.
And what a sign of confidence for this Michigan coaching staff to put the ball in Orji's hands to help seal this game. Orji smartly sliding before flirting with the out of bounds and a potential clock stoppage. Michigan State not electing to use a timeout with the clock clicking down here, and they've got 3 in hand.
24-17, 31-yard line, 1st and 10. Orji in the gun, back to his left. Max Bredesen in motion, left to right. Orji takes the snap, and he gives it off to Mullings, who cuts it back to the left and is tackled down at the 34-yard line. 2nd and 7. And Michigan State will take a timeout this time. 1:14 to go. Wolverines by 7.
Orji electing to use a little bit of selflessness there and handing the ball off. We know at times he can feel the excitement.
Ed Woods is down for Michigan State. A 1:14 to go. Wolverines lead 24-17. They got the big stop on 4th and 5 after the 2-minute timeout. And now it's just about getting these seconds to tick off the clock.
Worth noting, Michigan State, regardless of the final outcome, has outgained Michigan 352 yards to 256. So that stop, Alex, as you mentioned, hard to overstate how important it is Michigan's defense coming up when needed, even if not all night.
Spartans have had some long drives that came up with nothing. Most notably that one there, and earlier Jonathan Kim, a 25-yard chip shot field goal that the stud of a kicker missed. Both teams back out on the field here. 1 minute and 14 seconds to play. 2nd and 7. Orji still in there at quarterback. He's in the gun. Mullings to his left. 2nd and 7. Loveland in motion. He's now on the left side. Orji claps his hands, takes the snap, and he gives it to Mullings, who powers forward to the right side, down across to the 36-yard line. So that'll bring up 3rd and 5. Timeout once more by Michigan State. 1 minute and 10 to go.
We'll have to see here if Orji sticks on the field or if Michigan attempts to convert this first down in passing formation. Michigan State, another tight timeout in hand, Alex. So a stoppage here likely gives you the ball with about a minute to go and say your 20, 25-yard line. Of course, Tommy Doman has not been an effective punter tonight. But you need a touchdown if you're Michigan State, so still a tall order nonetheless.
70 seconds to play. 3rd and 5. Michigan State with 1 timeout remaining. Ball on the 36-yard line. It's Orji on a keeper. Orji to the left side. He picks up the first down and slides down at the 45. He could have had more, but Orji goes down there. And that should wrap this game up here in Ann Arbor.
Alex Orji, a guy who has won and lost this starting quarterback position all over again. The chance comes to make a play, to dive there. Just shows the poise that this team can still have, perhaps, even in the midst of what has been a disappointing season. Donovan Edwards with a loud fist pump on the sideline. Coming out of West Bloomfield, you know this one means more. Dylan Tatum on the other side.
They'll reset the clock to 104. Ball on the 44-yard line. Clock moving now. 1st and 10 for Michigan. 28 seconds on the play clock, now 48 on the game clock here in this 4th quarter. Michigan in no rush here. They'll come to the line with still 17 seconds to go on this play clock. 1st and 10. Davis Warren is in victory formation. Davis Warren, Alex Orji. The big house is behind you tonight. Warren puts his knee down, and that will do it. 24-17. There's a scrum on the field. Everyone comes out. A fight escalating in the middle between the in-state rivals.
They still look to not be separated, Alex. Coaches potentially involved.
A heated end to this rivalry game that Michigan wins 24-17. Everybody's still on the middle of the field. Tempers flare a little bit at the end, and this was a tough battle all the way through. And there's Davis Warren hoisting the Paul Bunyan Trophy at the 10-yard line near the Michigan sideline. Now it's Max Bredesen, the captain, with it.
Still more action as Jaden Mangum, number 3 for Michigan, comes in, the Michigan State transfer, with some choice words.
Bredesen carries the Paul Bunyan Trophy over toward the student section in the corner near us. And they come alive. Bredesen, the senior captain, gets to lift it one more time. And it will stay here in Ann Arbor for 365 more days, approximately. And John, in this big win for Michigan, you've got to feel happy for Davis Warren and Alex Orji, guys that in a way were written off, counted out, who came up big today for the Wolverines as they won by 7, 24-17.
Indeed, Alex, by ground and by air, Alex Orji and Davis Warren getting it done today. And as we saw, this rivalry means something. Records get thrown out the window. 2, 4, and 3 teams meeting. And despite maybe a frustrating end to the game for both teams, a little bit of an ugly display there, Davis Warren and Alex Orji captaining this team to what potentially could still be, what could potentially still be salvaged. Michigan yet another inch closer to bowl contention. Something Michigan fans cannot be upset with.
Tough schedule still to go for the Maize and Blue. Next week back here against a tough Oregon Ducks squad. But for Michigan, for this day, this is a big win over an in-state rival.
Big win indeed, and when you think about Oregon coming in next week, if you're Michigan, you got to keep the main thing the main thing. Sometimes all that matters is feeling one go through the uprights, right? Feeling a win in your home stadium, something Michigan has not found easily this season. Oregon comes to town. You're coming off an in-state rivalry. All you got to believe is that you can win.
Michigan has a reason to believe in themselves a bit more once again here in a win in Ann Arbor. If you look ahead to Oregon, they're coming in with an underdog's mentality, sitting now at 5-3. But John, any last thoughts to put a bow on this one, 24-17 win for the Michigan Wolverines?
I would say that at times last season, in what was a magical Michigan run, it felt like the Wolverines found ways to win. Of course, sometimes in dominant fashion, other times a lot closer. Today, outgained by nearly 100 yards by the Spartans. Time of possession heavily tipped in favor of Michigan State. The Wolverines clawing their way back from an early deficit, an early, nearly defeated mindset. A win is a win, and Michigan can go to bed happy with that.
The Paul Bunyan Trophy stays in Ann Arbor. Michigan wins 24-17, and that'll do it for our coverage. For our first half crew, Zach Linder and Jaden Fody. For my partner, John Tondora, I'm Alex Miller. And I'll leave you, as we always do, with a good night and a Go Blue.